What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. What's up? Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday. Man, I thought I was going to be done with Nick. I thought that was going to be it. I was going to take a break from talking about old Fuentes for a little bit. But he's just everywhere, dude. Everywhere you look, it's fucking Nick Fuentes. I open my closet, there's Nick sitting there fucking staring at me. Have you heard about the Jews? The Jews. And then I fucking open X, and there's, now he's talking to fucking Andrew Tate. Oh, now he's back on Alex Jones again, trying to defend against the Fed accusations. They seem to be really doing a dent, I guess would be a better way of putting it, denting his image, because he's still coming out, still defending against the Fed accusations, which, you know, by the way, there's nothing there, guys. Why do you keep saying it? Nick has built his whole career on calling everybody a Jewish Israeli agent, a Mossad agent. Everybody else who calls him a Fed, they're all Feds. Nick's the only one that's not a Fed, although he's the one that acts most like a Fed. But yeah, so he's on Alex Jones again. They went through the whole fucking spiel again about why he's not a Fed. They went over the January 6th stuff. And I figured, why not? I mean, this is what I'm interested in right now. I am totally fucking 100% in this game of following Nick to see where this leads. Because why do I care so much? I've talked about it a lot, but I think this is the period of time right now that we need to decide where this movement goes and who are the next people. You know, what's going to happen to this America First movement? And to me, we cannot let these little dumb fucks take over this movement. We can't. We cannot let these little snoveling little dumb bitches take over this movement. I was watching Destiny's Son. God bless him, poor kid. He's like, I don't know, 14, 15 years old. He was on Alex Stein's show. He is the perfect example of the dumbass little kids that are running this movement, probably using their daddy's credit cards to buy bots and set up multiple accounts and to inflate the movement to make it look more popular. Man, this kid, I just felt so bad for him. I mean, he's a kid, you know, and it's got to be tough with the things he has going on, you know, at his age. I'm talking about Destiny's kid, by the way. And there's a clip of him basically calling for the execution of all high-level Jews in the government. God, dude. What a fucked up time we're in right now. Yeah, it's so base, guys. That's base, guys. That's gonna win you a bunch of supporters. That's how you take over the seat of power in government, isn't it? Huh? So we're gonna get into this. Let's see. I'll hear Nick out once again, because he hasn't convinced me yet. Every time he's come out and I'm addressing the allegations, he doesn't address shit to me. He just lies and goes, I never told people to storm the Capitol, when there's actual video of him telling people to storm the Capitol. So we'll see. Okay, I'm going to listen to him. I'm going to listen to him again. We'll give him one more chance, guys. One more chance to convince me he's not a Fed. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe Alex can do it, because Alex seemed like he got at least a little more like calling him out on some of the things that happened on January 6th. I wouldn't be surprised if you give Alex another month or two. Maybe Alex will finally wake up and realize this kid is fucking bad news. He's bad news, but not yet. He hasn't woke up yet. So without further ado, let's get to it. Plus, we got Melania Trump is suing Hunter Biden for $1 billion. $1 billion, or she's threatening to sue him for $1 billion if he doesn't take back the claims that, like, she was introduced to Trump by Epstein. So we'll get into that as well. So we got a lot on the show today. How's everybody doing? Hello, everybody. Nightman, Righty Tighty, Migs, Necro, Mad Hooven, Captain Willard, Medieval Dead. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. But first, let's listen to. Let's listen. Oh, I gotta find it. Let's listen to this guy. Let's listen to the. Fat. Okay, let's do that. Let's give him a chance to defend himself. So I think I can skip a little bit on this one.
Because I know Buzz. I've been on, go on Joe Rogan, and it gets 100 million views. I mean, I've I can count on one hand the times I've seen buzzes this big. When Trump's come on the show and stuff like that, this in ways is bigger. And that shows how seismic it is. And yeah, it's true. The attacks on Fuentes backfired, and it's making it exponentially bigger. And so
I'm already seeing it dying down. I think the powers that be, in my opinion, have already done the damage they needed to do to America first and to ruin the credibility, because a lot of people like Alex saw the massive amounts of fucking views everybody was getting, in my opinion, and they just completely just fucking started sucking that fucking Nick Fuentes dick, dude. They just started sucking it real hard, bro. And watch what's going to happen. Like clockwork. Maybe it'll be the midterms. Probably be the midterms. I don't think they're going to wait till the next general. And you're going to see a non-stop rollout of all of the clips of Nick talking about how making his fans, his group of fucking losers, pledge to rape, murder, and die for him. Him calling for the execution of non-Christians. Him talking about pedophilia being based. Does Alex get into any of that? I hope Alex gets into that. I know he gets into January 6th stuff, because spoiler alert, I watched a little bit of it. But I wonder if he gets into the PDF file stuff, the Ali Alexander stuff. I wonder if he gets into the pledge. I don't know, let's see how far Alex goes. Let's go. Let's listen.
It's just important, I think, from a 35,000-foot view, if Nick can do this, to analyze it as a political analyst and as a media analyst instead of himself personally. So there I sprung it. I want to do that first and go through the other topics with him. Nick thinks Trump's betrayed everything on the border and deportations. I'm tracking the numbers. I know the insiders. I know they dismantled it under Biden. He's scaling up. I know Trump's backed off some on the skilled visa stuff. So Nick's got his points. But still, I want to ask Nick, why are you just 100%, it seems, on Trump and not the Democrats? That's probably my biggest beef, because we can criticize Trump all day and try to keep him on the straight and narrow and be mad at him if we want. And
I don't have a problem with that. I think we should be on Trump right now. I think now's the time that we got to sort out our own side, right? We got to sort out Trump. We got to figure out who the next guy is. We got to figure out the future of the movement. And then when it's time to sit down and go to war against the Democrats, we'll go to war against the Democrats. But right now, our own house needs a lot of sorting out, in my opinion. And man, ain't it brilliant that this is the guy now? This is the guy. They told us we were Nazis for 10 years. And then all of a sudden, the algorithms just push this guy everywhere, and he becomes the guy that everybody's kissing his ass. God dang, that's convenient, ain't it? Very convenient.
Not even supporting, but we
all
can support
natural, guys. All natural.
So why does Nick spend most of his time on Trump? And I think that's a legitimate question. We'll go to Nick here in a moment. But first, my message to the globalists, who are the real enemy, that they have awoken the terrible giant. And Trump's just a symbol of that, riding in on the surfboard. We brought this global awakening, and it is supercharged right now. And the man of the moment, which once you hit this type of moment, it isn't a moment, it goes on. And it gets bigger, is Nick Fuentes. And I talked to him a couple weeks ago.
They're going to shut it down. They're already shutting it down. People are getting tired of hearing about it as well. But yeah, the views are already drying up. They're already drying up. I don't know, man. I think they're going to pull it back. He's going to go back to, not being favored in the algorithm. And they're going to save all this shit. They're going to use him. Somebody said it beautifully on X. Like he was like a human wicker doll. And that when the left decides to light him up, he's going to burn everything down around him. I may not be saying it the exact way he said it, but yeah, it's basically that. He will be the one that will destroy the entire movement. And it's funny how nobody sees this. It's like, dude, this is David Duke. Tucker was right. I'm sorry. Tucker might be CIA. Tucker was right. Like Alex said, he's baby Hitler. He's baby David Duke. That's what he is.
I saw him on his own show that night because I watched part of it the next morning when I was working out. He said, yeah, I think they're going to try to come after me and kill me now. Well, they already have. I called him and I said, let me tell you, I've been around the block. You better watch your ass, because you're about to go next level, and the Death Star is going to take a shot at you. So here's our message to the globalists. Remember, folks, they're the real enemy and they're in trouble. Here is the...
Yeah, but Nick makes fun of you for saying globalists, Alex. Nick thinks you're a joke because you say globalists and you don't say the Jews. You don't talk about organized Jewish power, and you don't actually sound enough like a fucking Nazi for Nick. So Nick's just using you so he can get to your fucking audience, and eventually he'll start shitting on you. Unless you go full fucking Adolf Hitler. You got to go baby Hitler too, bro.
Terrible giant. We'll go right to Nick Fuentes. Everybody watching, share the live feed right now from his feed at Rumble, ours at Rumble, Real Alex Jones on X, Infowars.com/show. Share it because this is going to be a lively discussion, a lot of inside baseball, a real debate, and more. We'll go as long as Nick wants to go. Stay with us.
It's going to be a real debate this time. Real debate.
We are the #1 hated and attacked media organization in the world. And we saw that with someone at Who aren't you? Because the veneer. Remember how they did a fake auction and got caught, and the judge said tonight would call me with that in Austin court. They didn't want me in the courtroom, but I was watching it.
Oh, by the way,
because the judge hadn't called me.
It just broke that they're trying to actually fucking sell off Infowars now. So that whole Sandy Hook stuff might actually be coming to a head because the judge like approved. I'll pull it up. I got some news about it. We'll get to that in a little bit.
That Guerra Gamble that did that rigged court case with the show trial and all that. And after the debate tonight with Nick Fuentes, I'll give you a huge update. Remember how they did a fake auction and got caught and the judge said it was illegal? Remember how they closed the doors and turned the internet off and the judge overrode them? They just appointed a receiver and gave them the order to send in the Austin Travis County Sheriff's Department and seize the building when there's a stay and the federal judge has blocked it. And that's going to be huge when they come in here and grab the building and then a federal judge overrides them. It's cut and dry. But it's just like these federal judges saying Trump can't deport people when it's right in the Constitution. So, of course, it got overridden by the Supreme Court and other appellate courts. I mean, when you know the law, it's cut and dry.
Yeah, here we go. I don't know where I started. I went too far.
When Trump's calling the show and stuff like that, this in ways is bigger. And that shows how seismic it is. And yeah, it's true. The attacks on Fuentes backfired and it's making it exponentially bigger. And so it's just important, I think,
I disagree. Everything is a fucking deep state attack on Fuentes. No, some of us actually believe in like most of the shit Fuentes talks about. Like, we are America first. And we don't want this dumb fucking kid representing us. It's as simple as that. We don't want this dumb fucking anti-Semitic retard representing us. Simple as that.
35,000 foot view, if Nick can do this, to analyze it as a political analyst and as a media analyst instead of himself personally. So there I sprung it. I want to do that first and go through the other topics with him. Nick thinks Trump's betrayed everything on the border and deportations. I'm tracking the numbers. I know the insiders. I know they dismantled it under Biden. He's scaling up. I know Trump's backed off some on the skilled visa stuff. So Nick's got his points. But still, I want to ask Nick, why are you just 100%, it seems, on Trump and not the Democrats? That's probably my biggest beef, because we can criticize Trump all day and try to keep him on the straight and narrow and be mad at him if we want and not even support him, but we can support good stuff he's doing. So why does Nick spend most of his time on Trump? And I think that's a legitimate question. We'll go to Nick here in a moment. But first, my message to the globalists who are the real enemy, that they have awoken the terrible giant. And Trump's just a symbol of that riding in on the surfboard. We brought this global awakening, and it is supercharged right now. And the man of the moment, which once you hit this type of moment, it isn't a moment, it goes on, and it gets bigger, is Nick Fuentes. And I talked to him a couple weeks ago. I saw him on his own show that night because I watched part of it the next morning when I was working out. He said, yeah, I think they're going to try to come after me and kill me now. Well, they already have. I called him and I said, let me tell you, I've been around the block. You better watch your ass, because you're about to go next level. And the Death Star is going to take a shot at you. So
it was fucked up what happened to Nick, that crazy dude that like murdered 3 people and then showed up to Nick's house, remember? With the gun, the guy in the motorcycle helmet. Like, that's fucked up. But we're going to spin that like that was a deep state hit and not just a fucking crazy person who was just on it was just basically a serial killer who like murdered, I think, 3 people. Then he showed up at Nick's house because at that point, Nick was doxxed. Everybody knew his address. Like, that was fucked up. But let's not pretend like that was some fucking deep state hit, dude. That, if it even looked a little bit like a deep state hit, I would be like, it's possible that was a deep state hit. It wasn't. That was a crazy fucking person.
Here's our message to the globalists. Remember, folks, they're the real enemy and they're in trouble. Here is the terrible giant. We'll go right to Nick Fuentes. Everybody watching, share the live feed right now.
All right, yeah. So let's skip it ahead because this is where he does the commercial for 6 minutes. We got some nice Jewish music in the background.
And, Nick's 26, but he's lying about on the topic for Israel. Also,
I'm sorry to hear.
He's trying to drag us into war with Iran again and all the rest of it. And I wanted to debate him on the border and enforcement, because I think Trump overall is doing the best job with the tools they have and they're gearing up. It'll be a friendly debate. But since then, he's come out and said, he thinks...
Hopefully the audio is loud enough, because I know this sounds a little low, but I boosted it. So hopefully it's loud for you guys, the InfoWars audio.
That Trump wants this as a police state, so for Israel or something. And Israel is involved with anti-free speech laws and training police and things. So that's...
I saw a documentary about it the other day, Ethan Pill. I think, if I remember right, I mean, maybe we could watch that later. There was somebody, the guy that tried to kill Fuentes, the 3 people he killed, he was like in a lawsuit with, like there had been some sort of fight in the past. And then he like sat outside their house all day and waited for him to come home. And when they came home, he shot like 3 of them. It was like a family. And then from there, he drove like 150 miles to where Nick lives and tried to get, knocked on Nick's door. And fortunately, Nick didn't answer. Just fucked up. I mean, nobody like should have to deal with that kind of shit. Unfortunately, it comes with the territory of being, a very divisive political leader, But I don't know if he's actually a lead, he's leading a political movement or he's a comedian, because it's like, oh, he's a serious guy leading a political movement. But then when you play the clips of him telling his people to rape, murder, and die for him, the pedophilia stuff, the call for the execution of non-Christians. Oh, those are jokes, guys. You don't get the joke. What is it? Is he a comedian or is he a serious political leader? Which one is it? Oh, he's a comedian, but then he's also okay. Yeah. It's very convenient, dude.
It's actually a real fear, I believe, but I don't see that as why Trump's doing this. We'll debate that, and that's a real issue I disagree with Nick on. And I'm going to let him put out his view on it. I don't want to misrepresent it. But as I just said in the intro, I don't think I've ever seen buzz this big on the topic. I mean, every time I go out in public and walk around at least 10, 15 people, if I see like, the guy comes to clean the pool or something, he doesn't bring it up. But I mean, if I get around a gas station, a grocery store, anywhere, multiple people bring up Nick Fuentes.
It's out of context. Come on, guys. Okay. Then please, where are all the videos of the full context that clears up the fucking pledge to rape, murder, and die that he made his audience do? Well, it's out of context. It's just a joke. Just a joke out of context. Okay, well then, why don't I see all the Groyper accounts posting the full fucking context to clear that up? Was it out of context when he told everybody to storm the Capitol? I'm sure that was out of context too, right?
And this big battle, and...
What's up, Hey You?
Hey You,
everybody
super
thinks
chatted $5. It's not everyday little hats, but tribalism blinds a lot of people into not realizing it's the globalists. Many govs are part of the globalists' agenda.
True. We have to clean up our own house first, dude. We got to get rid of the corruption in government before we can go about solving. They're like, it's what fucking Nick's been saying lately. Like, we lost our sovereignty. Israel stole our sovereignty. It's like, no, our fucking government sold out our sovereignty. We got to clean up our own house, and then we can deal with all the fucking bad actors that have been bribing our people. But first, we got to get rid of, our shit. We got to clean up our shit, if it's even fucking possible at this point, because they're brilliant. Because when we start pointing it out, what do? They all of a sudden inflate a Nick Fuentes into the algorithm to make him the head of the movement to discredit everything. They're smart. The globalists, the media, they're smart. And they're many steps ahead of people right now who are not seeing the long game of what's going on here.
Ganged up on, and he's a really smart guy, and wow, they heard he was a bad guy, but now they love his show, and the show's been big forever. He's been around 8 years or so, 9 years, but it's exploded. And I know when something explodes like that, I called him a week and a half ago, and I said, you better get ready for the big attacks. And look, I'm not fighting with Tucker or Candace or Elon Musk. I love all those people, and I think they have their own perspectives and their own issues. And I defended Tucker because he confided in me 2 weeks after his dad died when I was up there with him for a few days, having dinner and lunch. That wow, I knew he worked with the CIA because USA did and Voice of America and all that, but I didn't know he was high level, and he was high level. I said, Tucker, come on, that's so. I don't think Tucker's lying about that. So I've said my little intro, but just in general, I have been extremely famous for 15 years. I mean, really famous for 25, 30. So I know what it's like. I know what happens. I know how people get jealous. They come after you, or they think you're a bad guy. A lot of stuff happens. And, Nick's 26, but he's been, active, for politics for at least 10 years or so. So he's a big guy. But at the same time, it's this phenomenon that goes on that is a zeitgeist. And when you become the symbol of a zeitgeist, as I have been and as Trump has been and only a few others, and Tucker is kind of the voice of the populist conservative movement, he's an icon. When you get to that level, just a lot of things happen that are good and or bad. But bigger than Nick Fuentes is the issue of the symbol he's become, and the fact that that's a bellwether or a canary in the coal mine that the Great Awakening's been accelerating for at least 10 years, but it's exploding now. And there is a total break with the system and anything seen as establishment. And so is it healthy to have all this fighting and all these people going after each other? Well, at the end of the day, it is healthy to have a debate about the populist movement and the Republican Party and our ongoing, somewhat successful takeover of that. And so overall, this is very positive what's happening, and really the end of political correctness, people not just minding being unpolitically correct, but actually reveling in it, understanding that we've been bullied and intimidated, and that's a very healthy thing. But then out of that, you can swing too far to the other side, which I believe is a danger as well. So we are in a time of momentous change.
What's the other side? I mean, you're the one that called Nick baby Hitler. It's very convenient, man. As soon as Nick's views go up and everybody sees like, oh, if I just kiss Nick's ass, I'm seeing it across the board. Lionel, you guys remember Lionel? Fucking dude was like talking to nobody for the last 3 or 4 years. All of a sudden, he starts kissing Nick Fuentes' ass. Oh, his views start blowing up, and now every video is about how great Nick Fuentes is. People ride that fucking train, bro. They'll ride it all day.
You have a lot of people, the Democratic Party is certainly still in their bubble, but a lot of Republicans that really aren't even neocons, but rub shoulders with both sides of the populist and neocon movement, that, like Charlie Kirk, that now are sounding now more like Fuentes, and then just like Fuentes at Turning Point and, all these other groups 8-9 years ago, they saw he was a smart guy, charismatic, even when he was 18 years old, bring him in, hire him, and then try to send him to Israel and brainwash him and make him do that. That made him go the other direction. They kind of, I would say, accelerated him becoming what he is today. And it's the same thing when now Charlie Kirk is like, I have the Jewish lobby, the Israel lobby, calling up and threatening me, and I've been your greatest ally. How dare you? And that's how this process begins. And then you've got, Flynn, who's like, hey, I'm a big fan of Israel, helped them, worked with them, on and on. But they stood down on October 7th. They're trying to drag us into war. They are manipulating the White House, and they're a danger. So I've got to come out against what's happening in Israel. You have to, okay? There's no other way. But then I don't want to be associated, not because I get attacked or because the ADL be mean to me, they already are, with the people that take it to the total cuckoo land. Like
Destiny's Son, who is influenced by yours truly, Nick Fuentes, who's literally calling for executing the you-know-whats. And then here you, come on, look, listen.
And, say evil only exists because of these interests when there's other fish to fry and other issues as well. Though Israel, through Netanyahu and others, is trying a full takeover in this power vacuum of the White House. So now I've gone great guns and said, now this is the big central attack, because it is true what people were saying in the past. It was partially true before. Now it really is. And so we have to just be honest about that. But that's not because I didn't hold back because I didn't want to.
Hey, Henry, you groypers need to actually learn how to communicate. I know you're children and you don't understand like how to communicate. You can just communicate in letters like W, L, ooh. It's a bad look, dude. Learn how to actually communicate your ideas like a grown-up, Let's see. There we go. And try not to spam. One of the few rules. Okay.
To be attacked. I was being attacked even more because I was attacking the policies of the globalists, which Israel supports, and others, and the Chi-Coms, all of them are in alignment. And so I was getting a big tent and mainlining this. That was what I was doing, but that was good in the past and helped build all of this. Now it's all out in the open. Now we move into the out in the open mask-off battle. So that's a long 15-minute rant intro. I'm going to give Nick Fuentes the floor here for at least 15 minutes, and we'll start the debate portion after that, and I appreciate him being here tonight. I know he's got his own stream coming up this evening as well, at like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. He does it different times. To go wherever you want, but I'd like you to also spend some time addressing...
Is he ever going to let Nick speak? I can see all the groypers now like, damn it, Alex, shut up. We just want to hear Nick.
The attacks that have really, I mean, I'm not even looking for it, and it's everywhere. Phone calls, in my email, text messages. I go to X trying to look up Peace Summit stuff, and it's all, I mean, you just see everybody jumping on.
Maybe because they have a fucking concern, Alex. Maybe you should listen to some of the people who are airing their concerns about this dumb fucking kid. Because they've seen the clips of this dumb fucking kid. And they realize, oh, okay, damn. They are going to successfully label us a fucking anti-Semitic white supremacist movement if you allow this kid to continue to be the face of the movement. Because I know it's a joke, he's not in your feeds. He's in everybody's feeds right now. If you follow America First shit, he's everywhere. And he's ratioing everybody. He's ratioing everybody. He's ratioing Elon Musk on his own fucking platform. I'm sure there's no bots involved with that. I'm sure it's all just natural. And if it is natural, then we got a fucking problem. We got a problem. And it's going to get ugly. And it's going to be the downfall of the movement. You dumbasses. You dumb fucks. And somehow Alex doesn't see that. Alex spent all this time trying to avoid, they try to label Alex as an anti-Semite. He was against the Jews. When Alex was not. Alex was never an anti-Semite. Alex was calling out what a lot of people in America First was calling out, which was the selling out of our government to foreign interests. And now you're going to take that whole message and turn it into the Jews, Jewish power, and it's not the neocons. I mean, dude, you couldn't have a better Mossad agent than Nick Fuentes. I hope Mossad's paying him because, I mean, the work he's doing is like he might as well be a Mossad agent. He might be doing it for free. But I don't know. Maybe he's a Fed and a Mossad agent. Who knows?
Piling on to get Nick Fuentes. And, a lot of that is just, again, the dogpiling thing, kind of a mass formation, mob psychology. And then I sit back and I go, if they're jealous or don't like you or think you're really the devil or a secret Fed, that's the last thing you do, creating a mass Streisand effect. So the rocket your ass was strapped.
We're not creating the Streisand effect. It's already fucking happening, dude. This isn't like some small fucking nobody that you start talking about and then blows up because everybody's talking about. This is a dude who's already blown up and been pushed in front of all of our faces. And then people we respect like Alex are trying to legitimize this fucking loser little shit. So what are we supposed to do? Oh, just ignore it. Just ignore it. No, I'm not going to ignore it. I'm going to fucking speak my mind and give my opinion on him and my opinion on what's going on here. And tough shit if you got a fucking problem with it.
Strapped to 2 weeks ago, now just going 10 times faster. And so that is an amazing place to be. So that's just my Gestalt stream of consciousness rant. Nick J. Fuentes on Rumble. Find you on X as well. Thank you for being here. You got the floor.
Yes, well, thank you for having me. It has been certainly a strange couple of weeks with everything that's gone on. And, I've seen people characterize it on Twitter, the sort of feud that's been going on with Candace, with Tucker, with Elon, with all these different figures. And I don't know that you would characterize it this way, but I've seen other people say this. They say it's infighting. And I don't really like that term because I don't think it does justice to what actually took place, which is that you and I were both really on top of this back in June. There was a war in Iran. it really all goes back to this, at least for me. And I think, you asked me to kind of take the 20,000 foot view, the 30,000 foot view. To me, the 30,000 foot view has so much to do with the populist movement, with Trump, and with the situation in Iran as it has unfolded over the past
Hey,
few
you
years.
super chatted $2. I said it the other night. Alex has changed.
Yeah, Alex from 4 years ago would understand the point I'm making. And he does understand the point I'm making. I don't understand what Alex is doing. I don't. I mean, I'm trying to understand. The only way I can understand it is like what I said earlier. It's like everybody's seeing you're getting more views, you're getting more audience, and it's like they're falling for the psyop of views. It's like, oh, if I talk positive about this guy, all of a sudden my views go up, and I get all these positive comments, and they're falling
Andrew
for that
Wilson
psyop.
super chatted $2. I miss Stoner Alex.
Yeah,
frowning face emoji.
We need to get Alex stoned again. We got to get Alex on the pot. Maybe he'll have some proper introspection, man. I don't know what's going on, dude. It is weird to me because Alex was really good on these points before of like knowing like you cannot allow the movement to start looking like it's an actual anti-Semitic, like anti-Jewish, like racially obsessed identity politics style movement. You cannot allow that to happen. And Nick is like, if you keep pushing Nick will turn it into that. That's 100% what Nick wants the movement to be. An identity politics, white fucking, save the white race movement rather than a fucking, let's actually address the issues. Let's call out our corrupt government and let's actually try to fix things. No, he's not offering solutions. He's just offering more fucking division. More
Wilfred
fucking
Brimley super
race-based
chatted
fucking
$2. Seems to be
race
Nick
grifting.
Fuentes week on Pink Trip Live.
Yeah, well, Wilford, this is what's going on, Wilford. I'm sorry. I was not going to talk about it. I was planning on not talking about it, and then I started looking up what's going on, and it's like, this is still the shit I'm most interested in talking about today, unfortunately. What I feel like talking about is always not going to line up with what everybody else wants me to talk about. And that's just the way it is, unfortunately.
Years. So going back to June, you and I were on this. I was doing these big streams covering the war. I did your show. You were doing huge streams covering the war in Iran. It was blowing up. I do this show with Candace Owens, who I've had a little drama with her in the past. I've also helped her in the past. So we've had kind of a relationship which has been characterized by sometimes friendliness, but sometimes negativity. And without relitigating the entire drama, we do a interview in the middle of the war, and we don't talk about the war at all. We don't talk about Trump. We don't talk about, our cancellation, the Daily Wire, any of these things. She's pressing me about drama, things like this. Now, some people thought it was an interesting interview. A lot of people are disappointed in what we talked about, or maybe what we did not talk about. Needless to say, there was this big reaction to how she handled it and that it was behind a paywall, all these things. Then she goes on Tucker, and Tucker Carlson calls me a Fed. I do this big reaction stream to that. Clearly, that accusation backfires. Now, I don't know Tucker. I've never met him.
I don't think that accusation backfired. I think they were able to point out an inconsistency with Tucker's story about his dad concerning Israel, which is a legitimate inconsistency, which should be addressed by Tucker at some point, I would hope. But it didn't backfire, dude. I think a lot of people got woken up to that. And a lot of people, and then they here's the story. They just came out of nowhere, and all these accusations. No, these accusations have been around for a long fucking time. The Fed accusations have been around for years now. All this shit is nothing new. It's not shit that just came up all of a sudden because Nick was getting popular. This is the shit everybody was saying about him before he got popular. And then all of a sudden he got popular and everybody's like, well, wait a minute. Don't you remember this? And don't you remember that? And don't you remember this thing here? It's like, wait a minute. Well, how is this fucking dumbass getting so popular? And then so we start pointing out all the shit that made us go, this guy's an idiot years ago. But no, it's all a coordinated attack. No, it's not, Nick. It's people that see you for who you are, which is a bad faith actor, to put it lightly. And they're calling you out, man. That's it. And you've had no good responses. All your responses are, I'm not the Fed, you're the Fed. Oh, actually, I never told anybody to storm the Capitol when you're on video telling people to storm the Capitol. Actually, I told people to leave the Capitol. Lying. But everybody just brushes over that lie, right? Of him lying directly to his audience, trying to say, I didn't tell anybody to storm the Capitol. And then he's talking about Ray Epps, how Ray Epps was a fucking Fed and a honeypot and blah, blah, blah. He did the exact same thing as Ray Epps. And then that doesn't even, not even going into all of his fucking shit that's going to completely discredit the movement when those clips start surfacing again. The clips of him praising Hitler. You know, he was a joke, dude. He was fucking running around with Kanye West. He was a fucking laughingstock. And then all of a sudden, he's the guy now. He's the guy. And then people like me are like, wait a minute. This laughingstock retard is the guy now? Wow. Okay.
I've never talked to him.
Okay.
But he seems to, without watching my show or knowing me, he seems to think that he knows exactly what I'm about and made a very serious accusation. Not only did he say that I'm an asset of the left or of the federal government, he says, but I'm this weird gay kid in my basement from Chicago, and who is this guy and all.
He also said you were like the modern day David Duke. And I agree with that. And that's your future. Your future is going to be just like David Duke's. You're going to, like, this is Nick Fuentes' future is being, look at where David Duke's at now. Look at David Duke. That's how much influence Nick Fuentes is going to have over everything. Just as much influence as David fucking Duke. Watch.
All this stuff, this backfires. And then a week later, I get Elon Musk replying to Milo, accusing me of being a Fed. And you take this whole thing together, and I wouldn't characterize that as infighting. I would say what that looks like to me is a coordinated attack. I think it stinks.
It's a coordinated attack. We're all coordinating with Israel. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Okay.
I think it reeks of coordination.
Yeah, he's not a Fed, guys. That's silly and conspiratorial to say he's a Fed, but everybody is conspiring against him. We're all coming together at the same time to conspire against him. Okay.
Because it's the same types of accusations coming from people that are all connected to each other.
I'm not connected to any of them. I'm just a little fucking guy doing a tiny little show speaking my mind, but okay.
Elon replied to Milo. Milo did a show with Candace the week before. Candace did the show with Tucker the week before that. And Candace and Tucker did a show right around the time that she quit Daily Wire. So it's like, all these people know each other. They're all connected and clearly talking in the same, 2 to 3 week period.
Yeah, and they all know you. And a lot of them, well, not all of them. Elon doesn't know you, but a lot of the people saying this shit, like Milo, they know you. They know you really well. So it adds some fucking credibility to the things they say, even though Milo's not very credible. But he does have a history with you. He has pulled up receipts for the things he's said. So I don't know. Take anything Milo says with a grain of salt, but you can't ignore it.
They're all saying the same things. And so it stinks to me like this is kind of like an avalanche. It's almost like a backlash against my popularity. And for me, the big question is this. I think everybody's assumption based on what has taken place in the past year and a half, ever since the war in Gaza, obviously, there's this mass awakening about Israel and the influence of Israel and how that is detrimental to the United States.
See how he does a good job of changing his rhetoric when he's on other people's podcasts. Then all of a sudden it's Israel and it's not organized Jewry and it's not the Jews and it's not protecting the white race. It's funny how he like cleans it up a little bit.
We're being drawn into this conflict. We're backing a genocide. It's $30 billion in aid. It's World War III, all these things. And these figures like Candace and Tucker in particular, they rise to the surface and are elevated, whereas Tucker was at Fox News and Candace was at Daily Wire. Suddenly, they are these major critics of Israel. They're major critics of what's going on. Now, to the layperson, you would say, they're kind of meeting me where I was. I've been on this, as you know, for 10 years. I was known as the anti-Semite. I was known as the anti-Israel guy. Now, the layperson would say Candace and Tucker are kind of coming around. They woke up. They got red-pilled. They're on the right side now. They're pushing the truth. And
I don't watch Candace enough. I don't know Candace, but I know Tucker pretty well. And Tucker's got kind of the right messaging about this, right? You do have to kind of be careful about the way you talk about Israel, unfortunately. You can't just be like, oh, it's the Jews, it's the Jews. You got to actually keep it to like, Israel and Israel's policies and the country of Israel. It's just dumb, dude. It's like, it's the same shit the left does. It's like, oh, every problem we have is because of white people and because the white people own everything and the white people, it's the same thing. Just now, okay, just replace white people with Jews. It's the same racial fucking grift. And it's stupid, dude. It's fucking low IQ, stupid shit.
That's why there's this strangeness.
I know Tucker because I listen to Tucker. I know how he talks about it, John.
It reeks of this coordinated attack. And from the
Whereas
least
I don't really listen to Candace, so I can't defend how Candace talks about Israel.
People, you would think the attack would come from the usual suspects like a Ben Shapiro, a Charlie Kirk, who I have feuded with over the years, who are very pro-Israel, who are much closer to the establishment, that it would come from these relative outsiders that were jettisoned by Fox and Daily Wire in the past couple of years, that broke with that consensus view. For this coordinated attack to come from them is very suspicious. And I drew a lot of attention to that on my show, the suspicious nature of it, and said, maybe things are not as they seem. Now, as far as you're concerned, both Candace and Tucker. You had Candace on your show last week. I know you're good friends with Tucker. And, I saw what you said. I appreciated that you defended me from the accusation that I'm a Fed. But what I would say is this is sort of where I'm at psychologically. I don't know Tucker. I don't know Candace. I don't know her well. I've obviously met her and had my interactions with her recently. But I would say this.
I mean, you've been over to her home. I'd say you know Candace. Oh, I don't know Candace. Yeah, okay. I wouldn't say I don't know somebody that I've actually been to their home and spent time with. Okay.
If they are good faith actors, if they're honest journalists.
You know what I'm noticing? I'm noticing that you retards are getting us off the fucking right path and putting us onto a path of like retardation level fucking identity politics. That's what I'm noticing. I'm noticing you guys are not making about the corruption in our government and how to solve that. And you guys are making it about some other country. You're not even America first. You're Israel first. You're obsessed with Israel. Rather than going, hey, you know what? Our country is corrupt and we're selling out to foreign interests left and right because we have a corrupt political class and we need to figure out how to address that. You're like, oh no, ignore the corrupt political class. Ignore that. Don't even look at that. It's the Jews. Jesus, you guys are Mossad agents. You really are.
If they mean what they say and say what they mean, if they are who they say they are,
I guarantee
maybe this is all just a big colossal misunderstanding. Maybe they legitimately have real concerns about me. Maybe it's not coordinated. And to that, I would say, why doesn't Tucker Carlson have me on his show? Better yet, why doesn't he talk to me on the phone privately? I don't need the clout at this point.
Well,
I mean, the whole feud blew up.
I'll shut up, but that's where I was going to go next.
Yeah, Super Spurg, I'm pro-Israel. That's what it is. No, I'm pro-America. I don't give a fuck about Israel. But I realize that in order to fix the corruption in our government, the shit Israel does, the shit China does, the shit every country does, which is to try to buy off influence with our politicians. That's the shit I want to fix. You guys are obsessed like with one little detail inside of a giant fucking, picture. It's like you can just see one little pixel of a whole fucking painting and it's dumb.
I can call Tucker and ask him, can you imagine if I hosted a debate even remotely and I'd be fair? That would be massive. Everybody wants that. I mean, I know Candace asked you for another debate and usually, the person that loses. And
I got to stop responding to bots. I really do.
Would say she did, once, another one. But you and Tucker, that would be the new debate. You would accept that if I hosted a debate with you and Tucker?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you could call it a debate, a discussion, whatever you want to do. I would do a debate, absolutely, because, he made specific claims pertaining to Joe Kent. He said the reason that...
Next, okay, look, whoever debates him next, do me a favor. Don't go easy on this dumbass. Pull up the pro-pedophilia shit. Pull up the fucking pledge that he makes his audience do. Pull up the pro-Nazi Hitler fucking rhetoric he uses. They go in hard. Go in hard. People keep going easy on this fuck, dude.
That he's suspicious of me is because of my attacks on Joe Kent. And I've said this to you, and I've said it to Candace, and I've been saying it to anyone who will listen. In fairness, almost to the point of being a nuisance.
$1.31.
I've told that story about
a little detail. Do you mean little hats?
No, I mean, there's a bigger picture at play. Basically, the point I've made 100 times over is that they're wanting to focus on other countries when the problem is our country in our political class selling us out to foreign interests. It isn't this thing where it's like Israel controls everything. No, it's the fact that we have a corrupt fucking government that allows that sort of shit to happen, that allows foreign influence to outweigh American citizen influence. And just being like, oh, Israel, Jews, not like, call out Israel, call out what they do. But then when you start saying, oh, the Jews, you're discrediting the whole message against Israel. And you're acting like a Mossad agent. I mean, you're honestly like, I would probably at this point, maybe he's not a Fed. Maybe he's an actual Mossad agent. Maybe he is.
Joe Kent for many years.
But just wait. I don't know when it's going to happen. But at some point, they will use Nick and his entire Groyper movement to bring about the next wave of censorship. Right? Once they flip that switch, you'll see the shit Nick says, the worst shit Nick says, being played 24/7 on mainstream media. And then you'll see the messages from like Destiny's dumb kid. And you'll see all the fucking kids that have gone like completely insane, worshiping Hitler level fucking shit. And they will use that to bring in the next wave of censorship, because it's going to scare the fuck out of regular Americans who are probably not really paying attention the way we are, because we're in the culture war. Just wait, retards. Just wait. I don't know, man. Maybe some of you don't understand the long games that are at play. To me, it's pretty obvious. It's like right in front of my face. It's like, oh, this is what they're going to do. It's very clear. And then, get a bunch of bots and like try to force every influencer to follow and like praise this guy and like pick up some of his talking points and start sounding like him because, oh, I want a bigger audience. People fall for the most obvious shit sometimes, dude. It's sad.
Even politicos, a lot of people don't really remember Joe Kent. Why don't you recap people that don't know then?
Sure. So Joe Kent ran for Congress in 2022, and he received some backing from Peter Thiel, and he had a mutual friend, Matt Braynard. Matt Braynard was his first hire on his campaign. He was a consultant. Braynard was at AFPAC. He was at my convention. And long story short, Joe Kent attacked me in 2022. I initially supported him. I talked to him on the phone. We were going to send the Groypers out to Washington to help him. And out of a clear blue sky in 2022, he launches this attack on me and says that he condemns me because of my opposition to Israel and because I talk about race and
because you're toxic to a political movement, dumbass. He even said it on one of his streams recently that like somebody he supported lost their election because of his support. He even admits that. He even admits he is toxic to political movements. And then when that political movement has no choice but to fucking disown him, because the rhetoric he's used, because the clips that will come out, and then they'll say, oh, this is the guy that he supports, this guy who loves Hitler and wants to execute non-Christians and tells his audience to take a pledge to murder, rape, and die for him. Of course that's toxic to a movement, idiot. Of course that is. So what do you expect Kent to do, man? Piss off the Groypers and lose that support? Or allow your toxic message to be fucking placed side by side his message to completely discredit him politically? Which is what's going to play out in the long game, guys. Jesus, it's like some of you don't have brain cells, man. I know a lot of you get it. I see comments and a lot of you get it. And thank God I'm not the only dumbass out here who sees what's going on.
Religion. He said that my message does not fit with inclusive populism, which is his vision. Now, in response to his attack, I mobilized the Groypers to Washington, and the Groypers that were going to help him then were hurting him. And I said, we will not reward betrayal. We will not reward people that claim to be America first, but are really Israel first. We're going to make an example out of him. Now, Joe Kent lost. It was a major upset. That was rated as a safe Republican district, and he lost by like 1,000 votes. And so credibly, you could say that I caused him to lose. But I caused him to lose to make an example out of some...
He didn't cause him to... He caused him to lose. He had, again, Nick, I swear to God, I wish I would have saved the clip. Nick literally said it himself. I forgot who it was, but there was somebody he supported, and his support, basically, the guy lost because he got tied to Nick Fuentes. So yeah, and then I'll put my Groypers, my dumb children who aren't even old enough to vote. I'll put our support behind you, but don't disavow me. You can never disavow me. What a dumb fucking thing. Also, if you fucking kill somebody, you go drunk driving and run over some child, that he can't disavow you? When you start talking like fucking Adolf Hitler, he can't disavow you? I mean, come on, dude. It's so fucking stupid. It's such a dumb spin on things, dude. No politician can have this guy associated with them. He's David Duke. If you associate with this guy and you don't disown this message, you're done with. You have no future in politics. That's just the reality. And just wait. Just wait.
Someone that
It's going to play out. It's going to play out that way. Just watch. I mean, I don't know what you guys think's going to happen. You think this movement's going to take power and be like influential? No, this movement is going to be toxic to anybody that comes close to it.
says they're America first, but when the chips are down, they're really Israel first. Now, Tucker was good friends with Joe Kent, and they had this relationship. Tucker promoted Joe Kent on his show. And I think that Tucker blamed me for the loss. This is his friend. And he said, oh, you made my friend lose. What motivation would you have to see this guy who purports to be America first? Why would you want to take him out? And so Tucker then worked with Max Blumenthal on a hit piece in the Gray Zone. And that's where all this "you're a federal agent" accusation originated, was from a
That shit has been around for a while, dude. Go pull up Kino Casino. There's been people calling Nick a Fed since fucking right after January 6th happened. Okay? None of these accusations are new. They are the reason that last year he was a laughingstock. And the year before that, he was a laughingstock. No one took him seriously until the algorithm started making it popular to talk about this little shit. And then, if you talk nicely about him, your views go up. If you start calling out all of the problems that you're seeing here, you start calling out all the weird little things that are like, oh, wait a minute, he said this and he said that, and he did this on January 6th. That's not the shit that plays in the algorithm. Go kiss his ass, though, and push his message. Boom, they're going to push it. Why are they doing that? Because eventually it's going to discredit everybody, and that's what they want. It's a long game, man. What do you think these Democrats are doing right now? What do you think the left's doing? You think they're just sitting back going, oh, we lost, this sucks? No, this is the type of shit they do so that they can fucking put a fucking toxic label on a movement so that they can have a chance of actually beating it in the future.
a hit piece in the Gray Zone in February 2023, just a couple of months after Joe Kent lost. And so maybe that's just a misunderstanding, but I have said repeatedly, I did not come at Joe Kent randomly. I didn't pick on him because he was great. I was supporting him. Then he disavowed me because I criticize Israel. Like, it doesn't get more on the...
No, it's not because you criticize Israel, idiot. Tucker Carlson criticizes Israel. Everybody criticizes Israel. That's not it, idiot. It's the other shit. The other clips that are conveniently left out of this fucking narrative all the time.
Wilson super chatted $5. The fake accounts in chat are wild. Suhin that Fuentes teat.
Bro, some of them are real, some of them are bots. It's like, they think they're getting to me, and it's like, God, you guys are fucking pathetic. You're pathetic. You have no response to any of this. You have no response. It's sad. It's sad. But yeah, there are a lot of bots. I mean, I don't know if it's just he has so many kid followers that like have their daddy's money to spend and go to these websites and buy all the bots, or maybe they're running like 30 of their own fucking accounts to go, make, because people do that shit. Who knows what it is? But yeah, something smells very artificial about it, dude.
knows that.
By the way, if you want to support the show, smash the thumbs up. Also, you can become a member or send a super chat. Remember, you just click join in the description. There's the link if you want to become a member, or check out the Patreon, and or send a super chat and I'll read your message. Thank you guys.
Than that. And so I would either like the opportunity to tell Tucker that or to debate about that. But for him to say that,
I'd love to see that debate, man. And Tucker, God, don't take it easy on this dumb kid, dude.
I'm like mobilized by the intelligence agencies or by the left to take out Joe Kent because he's a legit fighter for America first. That's just not true. And, it's on Twitter for everybody to see. You could still find those tweets. They're still up there. And I've been consistent on that story for 3 years now. So anyway, so that was the basis of his attack. And if I could sit down with him and really just squash the beef, and you know me, I mean, we've had debates and we've had interviews. I'm a big boy. If Tucker wants to give me the Ted Cruz.
Here's a problem with gifting memberships right now. They seem to be going to dumb people. The problem with gifting memberships is like not everybody watching the show is actually a fan of the show. right? So then you end up giving a bot a membership, right? But I appreciate it, though. I know you're trying to help. But that's the problem with the gifting, that a bunch of bots end up being members. But thank you, Hey You, appreciate it. And welcome, Bill Hicks. You're definitely not a bot.
We're here with Kanye. I called you baby Hitler, and I meant it as a joke. But you know, other people would have, oh, how dare you? You just made it. But the point is, we've had some real debates.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to back down or shy away from the questions. And as far as Tucker's concerned, I, like you, want to see America succeed. I am not one of these people that is advocating for violence or for civil war or anything like that. I actually want Trump to succeed. I want America to succeed. I want the border to be closed. I want to avoid a conflict in the Middle East. Tucker has been working to prevent a war in Iran. So have I. I've been calling that, and so have you. I mean, so I look at the three of us as very aligned on certain things that are good for America, like being against the war. And that's why it's puzzling that for 3 years, or 2.5 years, Tucker's been working against me in this way, making these accusations. And here's the thing. Tucker has 17 million followers. He's got a massive show. If he is promulgating...
The fuck, we got a fake John McCarter? That's not the real John. Where's the real John? I hope he's doing okay. Did you change your name to Descendants Zombies, John McCarter? John, did you change your name?
This idea that I'm a Fed in private and in public, that's very damaging for me.
We can't lose the real John.
When I go on my show and say, why is he doing this? Is it because his dad is in the CIA? I'm defending myself. I'm being put in this position where very powerful, influential people with credibility in our movement, whether it's Candace or Tucker, and maybe they don't realize that. Maybe because I'm very popular and I have a fanatical following, maybe it's easy to forget. I'm being charitable here. I'm being nice. Candace has 7 million followers. Tucker has 17 million. I just got unbanned on Twitter last May. I'm not allowed on YouTube. And that's not to play the world's smallest violin for being censored, but it's to say I'm kind of the new kid on the block. I just emerged from being censored all this time. For them to be calling out this orbital strike on my reputation, saying I'm a Fed and making these accusations.
Yeah, and they're all using your own fucking words and actions, bro. Y'all act like, oh, y'all just making shit up. They're just attacking people. No, we're actually using your own words, your own actions on January 6th. And we're going, look at what this dumbass said. Look at what this dumbass did. Look at what this dumbass is telling his audience to do. Yeah, but it's all we're just making shit up, right? By playing his own words for you to listen to.
And in private, I mean, I have many people I know saying, oh, I have a mutual friend that's insisting you're a Fed because Tucker said so. Like, that's a big problem for me. And so that kind of punching down, it's not really cool. And it's especially not cool when I don't even have the opportunity to defend myself. And I just don't get where all that tough guy stuff goes. He calls out Ray Epps, who he accuses of being a Fed, to go on his show. He calls out Ted Cruz, all these people, but then does a 15-minute drive-by shot on me based on factual inaccuracies, and I don't get the right of reply. I don't even get... God,
you bots don't give up in the chat, in the comments, do you? Do you guys ever notice I don't really care? You haven't noticed that? Yeah, you haven't noticed it, clearly. Keep trying, though. It just makes you guys look like bots. And then you wonder why people call you bots. Fucking bots,
an acknowledgement. It just stinks like bad faith at that point. So that's where I have to really fight back.
It's going to stop me from talking about this and giving my opinion, right? Like the last 10 episodes you guys did this. But keep trying. Keep trying.
So that's sort of where I am in the whole drama. I don't understand these people. I don't know them. All I have to go by is I know me. I know I'm legit. And if they're calling down these strikes on my reputation, I got to question, who are they? And when I look at them, if they're calling me a CIA agent, it's like, well, that's pretty rich, because we don't have to go in. I don't want to use your platform to attack your friends, but for them to use that attack, it's pretty rich, because Joe Kent, who is the subject of all of it, he's a CIA officer. So did Tucker not know his dad was in the CIA?
Who you supported. You were supporting him. So I guess that makes you CIA, since you supported a CIA guy, right?
He doesn't know Joe Kent is in the CIA, yet he knows for a fact that I am.
This is funny because, Nick's not a Fed, but everybody else is. I'm not the Fed, but everybody calling me a Fed is a Fed.
How does that work? Joe Ken, his close friend, and his dad are both in the CIA, to his shock and surprise. But he doesn't know me and doesn't watch my show, but he's absolutely certain that I am intelligence. Now that's rich and very ironic and also very hard to believe.
Look at this fake Andy Worski. Yeah, you're not a bot pretending to be somebody else. That's not what bots do, right? Bots don't pretend to be other people. Have fun, bot.
So, you know, it is with a little bit of, I don't know, uncertainty, I guess, about their motivations. It's sort of hard to piece together the narrative. Although I think I did a good job of it.
So I'm going to be able to continue, and I'm going to tell you why they think that. And I was there. I understand. I know what happened that day. People got hyped up. I know the inside baseball because I had one of the big J6 lawyers, Norm Pattis, who was for the Proud Boys and others, and the Oath Keepers. And I know that he was your lawyer as well. And people go, oh, they got the same lawyer. They were working for the secret group too. So I get the same stuff. No, there's only certain lawyers that have balls to actually go in and do this because they try to disbar them. They try to put them in jail. They put a bunch of Trump lawyers in jail, for heaven's sakes. But I knew behind the scenes, they're saying he's on a no-fly list. They didn't seize his bank account. They're not subpoenaing him. They're not.
I don't think that's the real John, guys. Just FYI. I don't think it is.
I was getting subpoenaed too. You were the J6 committee. I know all that. So they don't do that to their operatives. You don't have Bill Barr with this new Veritas video where they got the text messages, the emails threatening the lady at the PR firm with arms.
So they create a whole hit. So you're telling me, Alex, they create a whole list and Nick's on there. These are the people they're going after. And of course, you know, Nick would be number one target if they're going to set an example because he's the guy ordering people to go into January 6th. He is the right-wing fucking anti-Semitic guy that they claim all of us to be. So they put him on this list, but then nothing happens to him. Nothing happens to him, Alex. Come on, man. That's not enough. That's not enough to fucking make me not think he's a COINTELPRO Fed agent meant to discredit the entire fucking movement.
Armstrong Williams reportedly, and Bill Barr, Trump's former attorney general, running around with Fani Willis in Georgia, literally helping her develop the plan to indict Trump for racketeering, which they did. And there you are in the hit list to put in jail on January 6th, and later you're on the hit list. So,
yeah, but then what happened to him? Nothing. Nothing. Oh, he got his, he can't fly. He can't fly anymore. Okay, well, that's convenient because there's no way to prove he was on a no-fly list. And actually, the reports are he wasn't put on a no-fly list by the government. It was actually Southwest putting him on a no-fly list on Southwest because he had made a bunch of, he made a threat towards a Southwest flight attendant. So they were like, no, we're not gonna let you fly on Southwest for a while, or maybe still, I don't know. So yeah, again, it's convenient, right? Like if somebody called me a Fed and I'd be like, well, but I'm on the no-fly list. Well, of course I could say that. Nobody can prove it. No, you just have to take my word for it. You just got to take my word for it. I'm on the no-fly list too, guys.
That right there, folks, when you're on a Bill Barr hit list and that's confirmed, because he's like right at the top of this thing, former high-level CIA, attorney general twice for H.W. Bush, the W. Bush. You don't do that. And I mean, that is just a fact. And so we can get to some of that coming up because I think that's important to get on the record here. But this is the issue, Nick. And I know you've released the emails, the text messages, all of it. We go to the lips, and then Trump says march down there, and it's all, hey, people have gone to the Capitol. It's fun. We don't know what's going on in there. You're down the road. You hear what's on the internet. Okay, go in the Capitol. Okay, people got hyped up. People got excited. I saw a lot of other people that went in and did the same thing. You didn't go in. Now, you can still say, though, all right, he didn't get indicted. Well, you weren't even at the Capitol and you didn't go in. If you would have been there, I think you might have been. But the point is that they protected Ray Epps, who's running around for days saying go in, break in, do all of this. And so I think that piece of evidence alone doesn't make you a Fed. Then I know the inside baseball because I had the same lawyer, and you've now released all the documents, the stuff that went on, that wasn't, fake. And I've had to use lawyers to get undebanked and had to move banks. You have to file lawsuits. And then people say, oh, no, that's how they got control of him and all the rest of it. So I've been through this so much internally myself.
He did the same thing as Ray fucking Epps, Alex.
Because I was there, and then I experienced it, and then I followed the case, and then I had the same lawyer. And so that's the reality of all of this. But this is the clip that that has Tucker concerns. I want to play it so you can respond. Here it is.
So in his last stream, which people will claim, he completely just debunked all the accusations. He literally lies. Nick does in his last stream and tries to say, I never told people to go in the Capitol. I never said for anybody to go in the Capitol. I actually told people that we should leave, that it's getting hairy out here. But yeah, we have this video. So does he just think his followers are that? They probably are, to be honest. I mean, he knows they're a bunch of bots. But I guess he has no respect for his followers, that he could just lie to them and try to spin something that is like on video. Is clearly not the case. Yeah, maybe you did. After doing this, maybe you turned to your friends and you're like, oh, we need to get out of here. I don't want to get hurt. But you already fucking told. And then some of your followers just did get in trouble, did face charges, I think got jail time. I have to look it up. We should do a deep dive one time into what happened to all of his followers. How many of his followers actually got prosecuted for this, for going into the Capitol? But yeah, he will tell you that he never did that. He didn't do this. He didn't do this. He just gave a fiery speech and then told everybody to leave. That's what he did. The Groyper bots really hate this clip. They have no defense for it, except to just call you a liar or a Jew. And it's like, they hate this clip so much. This is all out of context, though, right, guys? This is all an out of context lie, right? Right?
All right, so you have to remember the climate at the time. Democrats were taking over capitals all the time, having protests, sit-ins. They've done it recently in Michigan and Georgia, and it's not called a terror attack. And I've seen your description of what you were saying, and I understand it from the time that we're all angry. They've stolen the election. That's confirmed. You're called there. You go there. I saw you a few days ago in a clip. Describe this if you could repeat people that information, because I believe it. I buy it.
Yeah. So as you know, the January 6th protest, this is something that I almost wasn't even going to attend, because at January 6th, it was basically over. The whole plan for Stop the Steal, there were all these different deadlines, and the goal was to get the state representatives in the state capitals to take back the power to appoint the electors that would go and make the decision.
He's got no defense for this. He really doesn't. He really does. He just tells the story again. Oh, but we had already, I'd given this speech at other capitals. There's just no defense. There really isn't.
So there were all kinds of deadlines.
That's why they got to call you a Jew. They got to tell you you're a liar. They got to tell you you're taking things out of context, because they really have no defense for this.
Certifying the election, picking the slate of electors, all these things. By January 6th, we knew it was over. We knew that probably Mike Pence was not going to do this option where he would not read some of the votes. Was one of the, that's why Trump had a big problem with him, because the play was that he would decline to read the votes from the states where the result was contested. We knew that wasn't going to happen. Now, for that reason, I said, I don't even know if I'm going to go on January 6th to the speech on the ellipse. because that was the event. For those that were in the know, January 6th was supposed to just be Trump for the first time was working with Women for America First, Stop the Steal, all the big organizations that organized the protests. For the first time, the White House was collaborating with them to do a big thing.
And by the way, I can verify all that because I started the event a month before for the date down the road in a smaller area. The White House calls. They said, hey, we want you to run it. Because people that don't know, they can't use federal funds for that. They wanted me to work with donors and move to the Ellipse and raise like $5 million. I said, I'm not doing that. I handed it off to the Republicans. I said, I'm not involved. I've raised $350,000 from listeners. I gave them the money, didn't keep a cent of it. That raised from listeners. And because I didn't want to manage something like this. I can't manage a dinner party, much less that. We were going to have Trump at our event. We were just going to have a rally as we'd had many before, the months before. One of them had 500,000 people there. So absolutely, I can vouch because I was there for all of this, and I can also vouch that I said this the first day. I don't think Trump was involved, and I'm not interrupting, I just want you to integrate this in. They wait. There's like 1 million people there. Only 30,000 can get in the cordoned off area at the Ellipse. They're all over the Washington Monument, everywhere, red hats everywhere. I'm sitting there in the front row. It's freezing. You were in there too, right over from me. And then halfway through, Trump goes, march peacefully to the Capitol. The Secret Service opens the gate in front of me. I go into the backstage. They take me through and they open me out on Pennsylvania Avenue and go lead it. And I go lead it. Hundreds of thousands had already marched. By the time I get there, it's total bedlam. The internet doesn't work.
And what did Alex do? Did Alex sit there and give a speech and tell his followers to storm the Capitol? Alex told people to leave. He said, go. This is going to turn into another Kent State. Leave. Don't go to the Capitol. Go, leave. That's why I mean, if I had videos of Alex doing this same shit that Nick did, I'd be saying it's possible Alex is a Fed. But Alex fucking seemed to have saw the writing on the wall that this was a trap. This was a setup. But Nick didn't. Or maybe Nick's just stupid. It's possible he's just a moron. But it's also possible he's a Fed. I mean, he even knew the day before. Milo sent him a text telling him that the Feds, or I don't know if it was FBI or, what federal agency was visiting these people, but apparently the head of the Proud Boys, Gavin McInnes, Milo, a lot of them got knocks on their doors and they said not to be there. And they were told not to be there on January 6th because they can't confirm their safety. They can't keep them safe, basically. Something might happen to them. So all the people he was talking to were Feds, looks
Josh
like.
George super chatted $5.
Milo's probably a Fed.
You have Nick Fuentes derangement syndrome.
Yeah, that's what it is, Josh. Thank you for the 5. So yeah, he knew something. I mean, it was pretty clear at that point, the day before, they knew something was going to be weird about this. And that's why Milo didn't go, other people didn't go. And it's odd that they had a knock on the door for all these like high-level people that were going to be involved in Stop the Steal. They were visiting them, but they didn't visit Nick Fuentes? Or maybe they did visit Nick Fuentes too, and he just didn't talk about it. He didn't come out like Milo and actually go, hey, I just had a visit at my... Because Milo publicly on, I think it was Gab or one of those other sites, Milo publicly said, hey, stay away tomorrow. Something's weird. I got a knock on my door. I don't know what they're planning, but there's some weird shit going on with January 6th. And he shared that with Nick. And what did Nick do? Nick still went. And he's still fucking... Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's just a dumbass. But I'm starting to think maybe he also got a knock on the door. But when he got a knock on the door, it went a little different than everybody else. Possible. It's possible. I don't know why they would talk to everybody but Nick.
The phones don't work. Everything's jammed out. There's so many people. And I had no idea what was going on. But then I had these special operation guys, former Delta Force guys and people. They're like, it's obviously staged.
God damn, you guys like faking other people, don't you? Look, the fake red bar. Whoa, dude. You guys are trying to beat the bot accusations, but then you go around making accounts pretending to be other people. It's a little weird.
We got Antifa up there because they'd already gotten there right when it was starting. They said
the proof is his behavior, just one. I don't have actual evidence. I just have my eyes to go, why was he behaving that way on January 6th when he actually was warned that something funny was going to happen, that there was some funny business there? But he just didn't listen and played right into it like a little dumbass. So, yeah. I don't know. Why are you ignoring that evidence?
They ran down to meet us. They go, because the phones wouldn't work. They go, you got to get down there and tell them not to go in. This is a setup. So I run, as fast as I can with no Achilles down there, get hit with tear gas, trying to stop people going in. So sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to give the backstory of that. And clearly I then felt, not by Trump, but insiders knew there was a setup working inside the administration. Bill Barr, we now know, who was on the ground and caught organizing it with the Democrats, that we were all set up and we were all told to come there. You, the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, all of us to be set up. I think that's a 2 + 2 = 4. Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, and so my experience on that day is that I showed up in a suit and tie. You know, I didn't come in like commando gear because we really thought we're going to this speech. And then that was it. That was the speech, and Trump was going to talk, and then we were all going to go home. I think we even had an interview planned with you. I think I was planning to talk to you.
Yeah,
doing a show.
We had rented the media roof across from the Capitol, which anybody can pay $5,000 and get, by the way, for the day. And so I'm above the Capitol, and I was doing all these interviews. And then the left said, indict Jones. He was perched on a building to run the attack. No, I'd rented that place 3 or 4 times before. I was right by CNN and ABC News. But absolutely, we had an interview that night booked.
Right. And so point being is, like, I didn't have any plans to even be at the Capitol building. I was going to go to the Ellipse, watch the speech. I had a VIP pass. I was literally right behind you. And what changed is that, as you said, and everyone can confirm this who was there, Trump said in the speech, we are going to go and peacefully make our voices heard outside the Capitol. And there was like a rumbling that you and Trump were going to lead the march, and you left early. And I said, oh, that's the program. I guess we're all going to the Capitol. And you're right. The phones weren't working. Anyone who's been to a baseball game or a concert knows how that goes. When you're in a high density area, the cell doesn't work. So we said, okay, I guess we're just going to the Capitol. So we walked to the Capitol. By the time I got there, the barricades surrounding the Capitol complex on the lawn had already been taken down. At that point, which had happened earlier in the day, the protesters had already gotten onto the lawn and were on the steps of the building. So I arrive at the Capitol, and I'm there with like a group of a half dozen people, fans of mine. We're taking pictures. We're hanging out. I don't think we ever got closer.
A half dozen. So he's there with 6 people. But he's trying to downplay like his message got. I mean, he's on a loudspeaker speaking to the crowd that's marching into the Capitol. And he's trying to downplay like, oh, it's only 6 people. It was just a small little group. He's not being honest, dude.
Than 300 feet from the Capitol.
Oh, now it's 300 feet. I thought it was 500 feet last time I heard you, Nick. Last time I heard you talk about this, you said it was 500 feet. Now it's 300 feet.
We were on the lawn. And somebody came up to me and said, oh, you got to give a speech. You got to give a speech, because this was the program. You and I had done this at all the state capitals. I was in Lansing, Atlanta, Harrisburg, Phoenix, D.C., and we gave speeches with megaphones at the governor's mansion, at the state capitol.
You climb up on the highest statue or object, and you speak to the crowd.
Right. We did it in D.C. We did it at Million MAGA. There's pictures, videos. So somebody said, oh, this is an historic day. You got to give a speech. I said, well, find me a megaphone. So some orbiter, some fan of mine zips off, grabs a megaphone, brings it back. We look for the highest place. And that statue that you see me on there, that was Peace Circle. You could look at a map of the Capitol complex. It's 500 feet from the building. So, I think that.
Okay, I get it. I get the discrepancy. Where he gave the speech was 500 feet, but then there was a point where they were on the grass, and that was 300 feet. Okay, I got it.
That's a big part of the missing context. As people look at that video, they see the speech, and they imagine maybe I'm like guiding people into the building.
This is the biggest fucking nothing burger. Like, it makes a difference where he was at when he gave that speech. He was on Capitol grounds. It doesn't fucking matter where he was at when he ordered people to not ignore the barricades, to destroy the barricades and to take the Capitol and to ignore the police. Again, why isn't Alex calling him out for not having the awareness that Alex had? Which was like, holy shit, they're shooting fucking tear gas. People are fighting with the police. This is going to be bad. I don't want people to get hurt. Everybody leave. How come Alex had that awareness, but Nick's awareness was to send people into the danger? God, I really wish Alex would really hammer this fucking kid, dude. But he just doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do it.
I was 500 feet away from the building. And so when I'm saying, take down the barricades, there were barricades on the lawn, which people were already on top of. There were barricades on the lawn in front of the Peace Circle, which that is what I was referring to.
So it's okay to take those barricades down. Oh man, there's no coming back from this to me. Like, the more people start learning about Nick, The people with eyes and common sense are going to see this, and they're going to know this kid's not to be trusted. And then eventually, hopefully, they'll find all of the problematic clips that will eventually be all over the place. Just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before the mainstream media, CNN, probably they're going to save it for the midterms. They're going to be fucking running the clips of Nick Fuentes nonstop. All the worst fucking shit he's said, which it gets really bad, really bad. I've covered it in previous episodes, so you can always dive into it. I'm not going to go through all of it again today. That would sidetrack me.
To. And I was saying, because the idea was, this is what the chatter on the ground was, we were going to protest on the lawn until they came back in session and gave Trump the election. The idea was this was like a protest. So when I said, we're going to hold the Capitol, it was like,
and
we're not going to leave until...
I said the same thing the weeks up to it. I said, we're going to peacefully, that was even, I think we even had a website, peacefully occupy the lawn until they actually have an investigation.
Yeah, but that's not, Nick didn't say peacefully go in. No, Nick said destroy the barricades, ignore the police. We need to evict they're leaving the Capitol. We're evicting them.
Super chatted $2. He didn't get charged for incitement because he's a Fed.
Well, it's possible, Andrew, that he was a Fed already. He was already working with them at that point. Because again, like I said, all the people that were organizing the event had a knock on their door. Milo admitted it. Milo fucking blew the whistle on that. Right? But Nick never mentioned he got a knock on his door. I find it hard to believe that Nick wouldn't have gotten a knock on his door the same way everybody else high up in the movement did. So maybe he worked the deal out at that point. I don't know. Maybe he was already a Fed. But if he wasn't a Fed at that point, he definitely had some. I mean, look, it is possible he's not a Fed. It's possible he's just a useful idiot that they realize, like, how do, one of these smart fucking, political think tank groups are like, man, how can we... This America First is a problem. How can we... Oh, I know what we do. We turn up all the biggest idiots in the movement. And we just fucking artificially blow up all of the biggest idiots in the movement so that we can discredit it. And Nick is just the perfect guy for that. He's the guy that will give them every clip and every talking point they need to discredit the whole movement.
In Congress into the election fraud.
Exactly. And this is how this stuff goes. People don't realize when you're in the heat of the moment and there's no plan like that, there's just like this chatter that goes on the ground, and you get these ideas and, it's like a mob thing. And so you're there and we're saying to ourselves, okay, we're here on the Capitol complex. Mike Pence did not do what Trump wanted him to do. They shut down the session where they were counting the electoral votes. And we said, yeah, like, we're not going to leave until they, choose Trump in the election. That's the basis of the speech on Peace Circle. But then we start to get word that the cops are coming in heavy. We get word that special forces are coming in. They're throwing tear gas down on the lawn. So me and the whole group I was with, we said, let's get out of here. And so people like,
it's so confusing. I mean, again, this is such a bitch move. He orders his people to fucking take the Capitol, and then he's like, oh, it's getting a little hairy. I think we should get out of here, guys. Then he pretends like that was him telling people to leave when he never told people to leave. He told people to fucking take the Capitol, to ignore the barricades, to actually destroy the barricades, ignore the police. We're evicting them from the fucking Capitol.
Like to say, oh, you sent people into the Capitol, but nothing happened to you. Every single person that was with me in that video did not get charged.
That's what does that fucking matter? Because the people that were with you, the half a dozen, the 6 people you were with, what does it matter they didn't get charged? What matters is the words that you used, Nick. What matters is that you ordered people to go into the Capitol, Nick. That has no fucking meaning in anything, dude.
That whole group of people. And
it's cope. That's cope.
By the way, we weren't on restricted grounds. The only people that got charged were people that were in the building.
But
that's a lie.
Nick, they did try to charge you. That was, and I had the same lawyer, so I mean, and you've released the documents. They did subpoena you. They did come after you. They did call you before the Jan 6 committee.
Yeah, and when they have the evidence of you doing the thing they needed you to do in order to charge you, but then never charge you, that's not weird. That's not funny.
We have Bill Barr, and we should get to, and I don't want to spend the whole night on that because we've got a lot more to hit, but I actually have the clips of the whistleblower with the documents, Nick's name, my name, General Flynn, how they want to take us down for Jan 6 and then 2 years later, 2023, because you were still seen as a supporter of Trump then. And
Lord of the dude, sometimes it's like, do I have to disprove a lie that everybody can fucking disprove in 2 seconds? Look at Enrique Tarrio. He got charged. Plenty of people that fucking got charged that didn't go storm the fucking building, okay?
JCD 780 super chatted $1.45. He didn't get charged because he's a Fed.
That's what I'm saying, JCD. I don't know 100% if he's a Fed, but there's a possibility he is. But like I said, he could also just be a useful idiot playing right into their hands.
And I already showed this Friday and already showed this Monday, but this is all right here. Project Veritas Part 2, whistleblower Bill Barr held secret meetings to plot prosecutions of Trump and block his political comeback. But the bigger story is, and his, what they thought was his biggest supporters, and Nick is on that. You don't get on the Bill Barr hit list if you're Ray Epps. Notice Ray Epps was not on the list.
Yeah, because Ray Epps wasn't a high-level fucking guy. No one, probably also a Fed. But again, okay, that doesn't disprove anything. How does that disprove anything?
Right. Well, and not only that, as you said, I got my bank account frozen. I got put on the no-fly list. It's in the New York Times that they
got your bank account frozen because you had a large fucking Bitcoin donation from a foreign fucking country. Was it like $500,000? I forget the exact amount. And yeah, the banks flagged it as being fishy, and they froze your account for 6 months as they investigated it and then gave it back to you. But he makes it like that was like it was the, you know, the no-fly list and the fucking bank account being froze like that. That's all proof that he's not a Fed. No, it's not.
They were considering hitting me with charges. I got subpoenaed in 22. And I mean, maybe the coup de grace is that I testified under oath that I never interviewed with law enforcement, which I did not. I never talked to the FBI. FBI never came to me, never talked to any law enforcement or intel agency.
It's like, oh, I didn't. Yeah, Nick, that's what fucking undercover agents do, Nick. They come out and tell you, yeah, actually, I did work with the FBI. Actually, I did have meetings with the FBI. Yeah, of course you're going to hide that shit. The government's not going to fucking come out and say that you're a fucking informant or that you're working with them behind the scenes. Of course they're not going to fucking just come out and say that. Like, come on, dude. How stupid. That's fucking dumb.
And I mean, look, my bank account got frozen, and this happened without them even telling me. Eventually, after 2 weeks, the bank told me who froze the money. They gave me the phone number of the lawyers that put the legal hold on the account. I sent it to my lawyers immediately. My lawyers called the U.S. attorney, and then they said, you're under investigation because of this Bitcoin transaction, which I discussed on my show on Monday, and your placement on the Capitol complex. Now, when I got subpoenaed a year later, after the money had been frozen and unfrozen, after I got put on the no-fly list and taken off, I testified under oath I never had any contact with federal law enforcement in that way. And as you said, I mean, Ray Epps, for all that people say about him, he got charged also. So it's like people say, well, you know, nothing happened to you. Well, things did happen to me. Well, then they say you didn't get charged. Okay, but people did get charged and then informed. Brandon Straka got charged and informed. Ray Epps allegedly was an informant. He got charged too. So you have to take it on a case-by-case basis. And in my situation, they were interested in me because I was a stop the steal person. I think they investigated because they thought I was in the building because of a case of mistaken identity.
No, Nick, I think they just had bigger plans for you than everybody else, Nick. And we're seeing that plan play out right now, in my opinion.
They investigated because of this Bitcoin transaction, which was unusual. And I think they came to the conclusion I wasn't in the building. The Bitcoin transaction was, although it looked suspicious, it was benign. And then I think ultimately they dropped it. And
well, we also had like MSNBC and CNN running images of you and I and others in different state capitals like Georgia, where we were invited and were peaceful and occupied peacefully. And they show us walking up the stairs and they would show and go, look, there they are in the U.S. Capitol on J6. So incredible levels of disinformation.
Absolutely. And in my case, a former friend of mine, Baked Alaska, he was live streaming inside the building. There was a screen grab from the stream of some other guy standing behind.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, you super chatted $5. He doesn't have to be an asset. Many people are useful idiots. It's 4D chess. Find someone who pushes an agenda to divide people and then promote them.
Yeah, I think there's that, but it's also, I think it's really just about discrediting America First. Like, they're terrified of America First, and this is an opportunity now that Trump can't run again. Well, he might, but he's not supposed to. This is a chance to put a fucking kill shot into America First, because who's going to be the next guy, right? So you start promoting the worst fucking people, the worst actors in the America First movement, the people that discredit it, that make it a toxic fucking movement that's not going to actually play very well to the general public. And you inflate those people. It's pretty fucking brilliant. And yeah, I could be wrong. Again, I'm just looking at this and going, this is how I see it. This is what it looks like to me. I'm pretty sure I'm onto something, but again, I could be wrong.
Find him. And there were posts that went viral saying that was me. We were wearing completely different outfits. I was wearing a suit and tie and a long coat. This guy was wearing a scarf and a hat and a jacket. But people were saying...
But how does that doesn't change anything. All right, we're going in circles on this one. I think we got some more. We'll try to get past this a little bit. Oh, we got the Hunter Biden stuff, but I think we had some more. Let's get to this other stuff. So yeah, breaking Alex Jones InfoWars assets to be seized by Texas receiver. So yeah, that battle's still going on. I hope they can fucking fight it off. I still like Alex. I think Alex does pretty good work. I'm just not, I don't like Nick. So, but that's not going to make me hate Alex. And then he had Andrew Tate on, who Andrew Tate has been like, hey dude, this is like some victim mentality bullshit. And now they're all mad at Andrew Tate, of course.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. And like I said, I'm not fully versed on all of it. I guess there's two ways I can answer that question. At a certain point, and of course, you're a full-grown man, you make your own decisions. I'll be very clear that I like Candace. She's always been very respectful to me.
What did you say, Candace? I thought it was Candace. Are you supposed to say Candace?
I think she's fantastic at her job. I actually think she's amazing at what she does. I have nothing bad to say about her. I think that when people were saying the Bridget series was irrelevant, I think that's disingenuous. I think it's actually very relevant to find out if the most prominent country in the European Union is being run by a pedophile and his dad. I also think it's hilarious that she trolled Macron into having a meltdown. I think that trolling's funny, and I think it's funny. I don't know how anyone doesn't find that funny, that legal letters are flying around the world. I mean, you're saying they attacked you. I respect it. There's two ways to answer that question. The first thing you can do, and you can make your own decision as a full-grown man, is it about you and your own personal feelings, which it's allowed to be, by the way, or is it about the movement by and large as a whole? Because I've sat down with people who have come out for me guns blazing, but I believe they were 65% on the same side.
Yeah, I saw people commenting about that earlier too, JCD, that he's reading off a teleprompter. He could be, but I think what's really going on is his just the screen he's looking at is high, right? So he's looking at the monitor where Nick and Myron are. Let me not that one. Display full, yeah. But I think he's looking at the monitor. I don't think his monitor's like down here. His monitor's probably up on a wall or something. But it's possible he could be reading all this too. I doubt it though.
It's me. And I defended myself and I thought, you know what? They're doing more harm than good. And instead of arguing about the color of the wallpaper inside the castle, let's defeat the orcs at the gate first. And then we can start arguing about how we're going to decorate this room. But that's a decision that you can make personally. I'm not saying what they did is right, and I'm not saying what you did is wrong. That's a decision that you can make. I understand that my timing now with that context would be suspect. I understand that absolutely. But I have nothing against Candace and Tucker. And the whole CIA agent dad thing, I'd actually like to address that as well. One of the reasons why that holds no weight with me.
Oh, so his dad's in the CIA too? Oh, no, your dad's in the CIA, Andrew. That means you're fucking definitely a CIA agent guy. Nick, behaving like a Fed, behaving like a fucking honeypot, acting like COINTELPRO 101. He's not, but you are. Everybody, it's funny. Their whole response is everybody else is a Fed. No, Nick Fuentes isn't a Fed. They're all Feds. They're all Feds, not me.
Is my father was in the intelligence services. And now there's a whole bunch of people spamming my account saying that I'm a Jewish asset because my father was CIA. But I've been very honest and open about the fact that he was a translator and he spoke 3 languages. And I was also open about the fact that he was discharged without a pension for not following orders, ended up living in his car being a traveling chess player. And I had to grow up in a homeless hostel in Luton, England, fighting Kosovans at the age of 11. So if there's some big intel agency op going on, I never got any money from it. And our family grew up destitute. And I grew up in the worst area in England. And now they're throwing me in jail at random. So for anyone to believe that I'm some kind of intelligence officer or Fed is disingenuous. And another thing, and I want to make this clear, when I talk with you about issues, I'm very honest and open about the fact that you have swaths of knowledge I don't have. I don't want to get pulled into muddy waters where I'm in a situation and we're discussing something I know nothing about. You can start talking about the financing of a particular senator, and I don't know. So I kind of operate on feels, you know? Do I think you're a Fed? Truthfully, in my heart, no. Do I think Candace and Tucker are Feds? In my heart, no. When someone says, Tucker's a Fed, his dad was in the CIA, I say, my dad was in the CIA, and we were fucking broke. And he got discharged, and he died destitute with $15 in his pocket. So I don't buy any of that. What I do think is perhaps there's some ego involved. Perhaps we're at a pivotal moment in culture. Perhaps maybe there is a degree of them trying to assert dominance over you or trying to show that, you know, they're not scared of your influence. That's all possible and all very real.
Well, yeah, I don't know, Mr. Mac Awesome. I don't listen to Tate enough. Or who was it that said that? JCD, sorry. I don't listen to Tate enough to go, oh, he sounds like he's reading. I don't know. He could be, though. He could be. I mean, it'd be a little weird if he's reading all this off a teleprompter. It'd be weird.
I can only answer what I would have done in your situation, which was what I said earlier. I would have sat down with Candace, I would have defended myself and say, you know what? By and large, I think she does fantastic work. By and large, I agree with her. So I don't see the point in going to war with her. However, that's your decision to make. And I do also understand that going to war with people is entertaining. And we are in the entertainment business. That's another thing to consider. It's pretty funny to go to war with people and start swinging. But we have to sit down and be professionals here. And as professionals, we have to sit and say, okay, are we really trying to win? Because if there's things you've said I could get upset about, but I don't actually give a shit. You could sit here right now and call me a nigger and say I'm a Jew, and I'd be like, you know what? I like you anyway. I'm going to like you whether you like it or not. I'm going to say, I like what Nick says. I think what he's doing is important. I don't give a fuck what he says about me. I like what he does. And I think that that's actually a degree of maturity that the left have that we don't have, because they hate us so much. They're so unified and binded by their hate for us that they'll never infight over small issues. They're too busy trying to kill us. And I think unless we can manage to get our heads around doing something similar, we're always going to end up, every time we get any power, just infighting and falling to pieces.
Well, I would say that as far as you three are concerned, I do believe you're all different. I think that you are different than Tucker, and I think that Tucker is different from Candace. And the reason I knew that is because when Candace went on with Tucker, Tucker said, oh, you know, this kid, he's saying my dad is in the CIA. And Candace said, yeah, and he said that I'm Russian intelligence. And Tucker said, yeah, but that's more likely than my dad being in the CIA or me being in the CIA. So in that moment, I was like, okay, so wait a second. These two are not on the same page. And I don't think you're on the same page with them even necessarily.
Yeah, but I thought you just said it was all a coordinated attack, that they were all coordinating together, but now they're not on the same page?
This whole thing. And
is it possible that people just have suspicions about you, Nick? Is it possible that people just have reasonable suspicion about where you're coming from and what your actual motives are?
I guess what I would say about their attack is, in particular, Tucker's attack was to discredit me. And, you know, I don't want to drag you into a conversation that you don't know all the information about, because I don't think that's fair. But suffice to say, the particular thrust of his attack was to say that I'm a federal operative, was to say that I'm a federal agent. And
no, that you behave like a federal agent and you have the same effect as a David Duke did. And that's the reality. You can pretend that's not the case, but it is. You have the same toxic effect on a movement that David Duke had, which means as soon as your name's attached with the movement, forget about it. That's what his point was.
And you say that the question is, how do I handle that? Do I punch back really hard? Do I sort of take my lumps, so to speak?
No, you just go, oh, I'm not a Fed, you're a Fed. That's how you handled it.
I would say that's a very...
It did work pretty well, because you have a whole bot army to push your message and to make it look like you're winning the fucking debate.
Pernicious and specific charge to make, which is supposed to say, and it was almost artful the way that he did it. He said, Nick says a lot of the right things, but you shouldn't listen to him because he's not who he says he is. And that sort of says to me that they are trying to block me from having influence. They're trying to destroy my reputation so that people don't listen. And in my show against Tucker, I sort of contrasted our two positions. If it's about the movement,
you know, when you can use somebody's own words and actions to destroy their credibility, what's the problem? You destroyed your own fucking credibility, dude. It's all your own words and actions that have destroyed your own credibility.
For me, my movement says we're about American sovereignty. We want to break free from Israel. We want to break free from Jewish oligarchs. It's identitarian. America has a white character. It has a European character. It's racial. That has a lot to do with it. We need to shut down immigration. We need to get rid of this oligarchic syndicate that's running our country. And I would question, does Tucker conform to that? Because repeatedly he insists, I have never talked about racial replacement migration. He insists, I'm not an enemy of Israel. I love Israel. I love going to Israel. Now, you know, what movement is he a part of? He's part of the movement where you work for Fox News for 20 years. And then when the whole world gets red-pilled, now you're going to talk about Israel a little bit. Is the movement where your dad's in the CIA? Is the movement where you call up Trump and tell him to do a COVID lockdown? Is the movement where you say you hate Trump and you're ready to see him go away because you can't stand him? I don't know who Tucker is. I know who I am. And I would say that when push comes to shove, I have a much better case to make that I'm a credible voice than he does. I would make the case that my movement, to the extent that it's different, is much more consistent with what's right and where the people are at. If he wants to make it me versus him, be my guest. I don't think he's going to like where that goes on a long enough timeline. So that's why I said to Alex Jones yesterday, I said I would love to privately or publicly talk to Tucker.
I'd love to see that happen, dude. I'd love to see it happen. Hopefully Tucker's willing to, because this guy's not some invincible fucking guy that you can't debate and fucking beat him. What happens, like, you could debate him and completely destroy him, but then the fucking Groyper bots will show up and go, oh, W this and L that, and they'll just like inflate one message or like one viewpoint over the other viewpoint because they have more numbers. So because you have more numbers, that makes you right. Like that's the world we live in now. And it's pretty stupid. It's pretty stupid. And hopefully people will see through that shit at some point. But yeah, I'd like to see them debate. And I'd hope that Tucker actually pulls up all the shit I've been going over the last couple weeks. All the fucking clips of Nick sounding, you know, Nick praising Hitler, Nick telling fucking... I mean, do I got to go through it again? Nick, you know, the pledge that he gives his audience, that he makes his audience do. The fucking... I mean, it's just so much shit that you can hammer this kid on that just gets ignored so often. When they get in debates because they want to be nice. They want to be nice. Like, no, get in there and have a real fucking debate and don't hold anything back.
If he thinks I'm a fad, if he cares about the movement, then, you know, look, I'm not going away anytime soon. He needs to listen and take me seriously, obviously, because his attack on me backfired. I think he needs to put up.
Look, if you don't want me to call you a bot, stop acting like bots and I'll stop calling you a bot.
Or shut up. Have me on the show and debate the differences, make the case I'm a fad, or get with the fucking program. But that's kind of where I'm at with him. So I'm with you. I do have a consciousness of the movement. And I think that maybe Tucker plays a role in this movement and maybe Candace plays a role. But I think they need to have a team player mentality. I can't be expected to have all the magnanimity in the world and all the patience and tolerate the kind of nonsense they're throwing my way. That's kind of my position because I like you a lot. And I think, you know, when you and I had our disagreement on Twitter, you said, fuck it, let's get on a stream. I love that. I think that's honest. I think, you know, like you said, we don't agree on everything. And I've taken issue with things you've said and vice versa. But we can kind of talk about where we align. And first of all, we can talk. I think we should expect the same thing from them as well. And in particular, Tucker. So that's sort of where I'm at.
Yeah, do it. Do it. People say, well, why don't you debate Nick? Of course I'll fucking debate Nick. Nick ain't going to debate me. You think the problem is I wouldn't debate Nick? No, Nick wouldn't debate me. That's the problem. But I would debate Nick. I have no problem. I don't know why everybody's scared of this little kid. Let me go ahead. Let me take a break real quick. We'll be back in like a minute. I'm just got to go pee. Let me see. I haven't played this one in a while. Where's the, be right back. Here we go. Be right back.
Oh my, what could it be? It looks like it's technical difficulty. Or maybe someone is at the door. Or maybe Ping just don't wanna be here no more. Or maybe he just wants to pee or grab a little protein. Whatever the case may be, Ping will be right back, that's a guarantee. We're having technical difficulties. We're having technical difficulties. We're having technical difficulties. We're having technical difficulties. Hello, hello, are you there? Hey, where are you? We're having technical difficulties. We're having technical difficulties. We're having technical difficulties. We're having technical difficulties. Oh my, what could it be? It looks like it's technical difficulties. Or maybe someone is at the door. Or maybe Ping just don't wanna be here no more. Or maybe he just wants to pee or grab a little protein. Whatever the case may be, Ping will be right back, that's a guarantee. We're having
Okay, I'm back. Alrighty. So, even PBD is kissing Nick Fuentes' ass. He's like, I wish you would just stop using the bad words. Don't use the bad words anymore. Again, the problem isn't the words, dude. It's not the words. It's the fucking message. It's the fucking victim mentality, bullshit, race grifting. I mean, he's, like I've said a million times, he's just the white Al Sharpton at this point. That's the problem. It's a terrible fucking message, and it doesn't win. It's not a winning message.
All these guys, I've had them on. I'm in communication with many of these guys. I talked to most of them here.
But you can see, like, you can almost, he can smell the views. He can taste all the views if he had Nick Fuentes on. That's what it's about with all these people. They see the amount of viewership it brings. So they're all fucking, ooh, if only we have Nick Fuentes on. Ooh, look how many viewers, and then fucking we'll make so much money, and then we'll be introduced to his audience. And that's what it's all about, dude. As soon as the algorithm stops pushing Nick, no one's going to want to talk to him again.
Not all of them, most of them here. And I'll host Dave Smith. We've hosted Candace many times on election night. We've hosted, you name them, many of these. And who knows, maybe in the future we'll have Nick on as well to have a conversation with them. But it's been a very interesting, specifically, Vinny, I would say it's been a very interesting last 3 weeks.
And Nick said it himself from his mouth. He's on a generational run. And right now, I don't care what anybody says, he is freaking on fire.
You believe Nick, though. I get a feeling that you believe Nick.
You know what it is, Pat? Because, okay, name the person that can't even be on YouTube. He can't be on YouTube because of the stuff that he says. They froze his...
He can't be on YouTube, but yet every time he's on YouTube now, it blows up. So yeah, he can't have his own fucking platform on YouTube, but him as a topic and as a celebrity, as a personality, is blowing up on YouTube and getting pushed in the algorithm. So... yeah, it's very odd how somebody who's banned, who's supposed to be, like, banned off everything and fucking enemy number one, but yet the algorithm's just letting it go. It's just floating to the top of everything. Very convenient, very convenient. But I'm sure, like you, Groiper, said before, it's because the algorithms were fixed. The algorithms are all natural now. It's all natural.
Bank account. I guess he had like $500,000 in an account. Yeah. They froze him. He's at the Capitol. He wasn't. They made it seem like he was running into the Capitol. He was on the grounds where you can do it. And I'm just saying, like, and regardless of what that stat says, 89% down. If it's it's a nothing burger they keep pushing because they want us completely to forget about it, Pat. Why is Comer saying that Bill Clinton's a prime suspect, and they're investigating? They're still digging deep and looking for people to get into.
We'll get there. We'll get there in a minute. But Rob, somebody told me that Nick did open up his potty mouth.
Yeah, do you want to see? Yes, he did.
Nick.
What do you do?
Nick, well, you have to see.
Rob, did they edit this? Is this what you guys...
This is the edited.
This guy's so... you can tell he loves Nick.
Hidito super chatted $1.99.
Well, thank you for the $1.99. Appreciate it.
But what part is it? We can't play the whole 4 minutes. Can you go to the part where it's like,
here it comes.
PBD tells me whatever, because I think Humberto or one of the guys showed me that 10 seconds.
While he's looking for it, can I, with all due respect, and you got to give credit where credit's due. He goes crazy. He cusses at Candace. He goes after Charlie. He's no hold but Milo, Tucker. He craps on all of them. And in that rage, whenever your name comes up, he goes, and PBD, Patrick McDavid, PBD podcast. It's like the fire calms, and then he goes back. Look at this. Look at this.
Still young.
Because PBD's giving him bedroom eyes. Look at him. He's like fucking. Anytime he starts talking about Nick, it's like kind of weird.
Look at this. Look at this screen.
Played, Rob. Played.
I am America first. You are not. You're not even American.
Who is it?
And to the extent that you are, you're
Candace.
a traitor.
Oh. And Elon.
That's the last word on that.
No, it's not.
That's the show. Who is the Fed? Will the real federal agent please stand up? Who is it? Who's the real federal agent? Elon, Peter Thiel, J.D. Vance, Tucker, and George Farmer, the son of the head of the Alliance of Christians and Jews in the UK?
It's still more of the I'm not a Fed, you're a Fed. I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me, it sticks to you. This is his whole defense.
Or the realest you know. Patrick Bet-David said, why do you say the N-word? It's to show people I'm real.
No, it's so that you can actually discredit the movement. That's what it is. I have no problem with you saying it, but if you want to be a serious political guy, because he's not a comedian, right? He's a serious head of a serious political movement who one day is going to be running for president, then maybe act like it, dude. Maybe fucking act like it.
Why do you roll out of bed at 3 a.m. and do a
Here's
show?
my N-word.
Why do you say you're going to have hate sex with Candace Owens? Why do you say...
You know, it's crazy. You can pause that here. Here's the thing that I of course he's passionate.
Crazy.
He's 26. He's doing his thing. If he would not use 5 words, they would play his clips on mainstream and would introduce him to a new audience.
If only you'd stop using naughty language. Who cares about the underlying message of victim mentality, of fucking identity politics? Who cares about that? It's just you got to clean up your language.
Nope.
Yes,
They would. Yes,
Adam,
they would, Adam.
Let me tell you,
Yeah, they
you're
would.
saying nope. You're saying nope. There's a lot of nopes you have to bite your, tongue right now. When you said nope, Trump won't win in 2016. Nope, Trump won't win in 2024. Nope, a lot of nopes have become yups.
Okay.
A lot of nopes have become
How much
yups.
you want to bet Nick Fuentes is never going to be played on mainstream media?
If he's that, he
Don't
didn't
do
say
that
that.
to yourself.
No, they'll play him, and he'll be the example of how the right wing is such a fucking racist movement. That, oh, see, guys, we've been trying to tell you they're all Nazis. Now listen to the most popular guy on the right now. Listen to him talk. This is who your kids are listening to. This is who's influencing your kids. This is why we have to have more moderation tools on the internet, and we need to censor people, because listen to the kids. Look at what they're saying now. Look at this. Look, this is Destiny's son. Look, listen what he says. There's a whole bunch of kids just like this. That's when they'll be talking about it, and they will. They won't have him on, though. Or maybe they will. Maybe they'll have him on to defend himself. It's possible. It's possible. But yeah, they will be. Trust me. He'll be on every fucking left-wing media outlet. So, but they're going to wait. They're saving that. That's their little card they're going to pull. Probably during the midterms.
He
Listen,
didn't say that. He
I
said
don't think they'll wait much longer than the midterms. It'd be weird if they don't pull it out on the midterms and wait for the general. I think they'll pull it out during the midterms.
But by the
Let's
way,
play the bet. Let's make a bet.
don't do that to yourself.
Okay.
Listen, I had a
$1 million
I don't-
PBD
no,
bet.
but don't. Let me put it. Listen,
I'm actually
it
not
is
joking.
more
Let Pat finish.
likely.
Let Pat finish.
It is more likely that mainstream's going to play his clips, if they haven't already, than Trump winning the Nobel Peace Prize.
So fucking stupid. This guy's a genius. He really is. He's a fucking genius. All right. I don't know what else we had here. Yeah, we got this fucking Gavin Newsom. It's funny. Gavin Newsom's trying to be the guy. He's trying to be the head of the new Democrat ticket. And while he was giving his speech, the fucking ICE was rounding people up outside the speech. It's almost like Trump is trolling him. But let's get to the Hunter Biden stuff. So Hunter Biden is getting sued, or he got a threat of a lawsuit from Melania Trump if he doesn't retract what he said about Melania being tied to Epstein. So let's see what he says here, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the day of presidential.
I'd be less surprised if Hunter Biden actually had a more successful political career than Gavin Newsom. look, it's possible they can rehabilitate Newsom's image, but I think Newsom's just too much of a joke at this point. But damn, I think they're going to try at least. Now, Hunter Biden, I think he's somebody people will get behind just as a fucking troll.
Litigation has arrived. It's lawsuit time. In my hand is a legal demand letter addressed to Mr. Hunter Biden from the First Lady of the United States, demanding a retraction of Channel 5's video called Hunter Biden Returns, in which Mr. Biden here makes some speculative comments about the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein, Melania Trump, and Donald Trump.
Okay, well, they knew each other well. They spent an enormous time together. According to his biographer, is that Jeffrey Epstein introduced Melania. That's how Melania and the First Lady and the President met.
Really?
Yeah.
Epstein made the intro.
Yeah, according to Michael Wolff.
Yeah.
And so I only can go by what people are saying, and I don't know.
He didn't make these claims out of nowhere. They come from another journalist named Michael Wolff, who was
Yeah, but Michael Wolff, if I remember right, his name rings a bell. Hasn't he made a lot of fucking crazy claims around Trump?
a biographer that actually spoke to Jeffrey Epstein. But now here we are. And I've got $1 billion document in my hands because Mrs. Trump is seeking $1 billion in damages if we don't take the video down and if Hunter here doesn't issue a formal apology to Mrs. Trump. So now we're here maybe to give you the platform to apologize to the First Lady for your statements that you made about her possible connection to Jeffrey Epstein.
Fuck that. That's not going to happen.
Fuck Black, fuck Quack, fuck Eddie, fuck Fab.
Let's see how that plays. Kind of funny. Eddie, I mean, he's got balls.
Trippin', fuck Fab, fuck 3, fuck a fuck.
He's got
Well,
balls.
first of all, is that what I said was what I have heard and seen reported and written, primarily from Michael Wolff, but also dating back all the way to 2019. When
Michael Wolff wasn't Michael Wolff the same one that was pushing like the Russiagate shit too?
the New York Times,
I've seen him before and heard him talk.
Annie Carney and Maggie Haberman reported that sources said that Jeffrey Epstein claimed to be the person to introduce Donald Trump to Melania at that time. And then it was, I think, excerpted in a book that was published in Vanity Fair. And I think it's been repeated by journalists and authors since then. But the primary source was the interviews that Michael Wolff has been conducting, in which he has actually tapes of, I think, hours and hours and hours of interviews with Jeffrey Epstein directly. So, you know, fact of the matter is that, you know, I don't think that these threats of a lawsuit are add up to anything other than a design.
He's old as fuck, Dylan.
Distraction, because it's not
You're talking about Hunter Biden. I think Hunter Biden's in his 50s, ain't he?
about who introduced whom to who. I don't know how that's in any way rises to the level of defamation to begin with. But the fact of the matter is that this is about...
well, I don't know if it matters. What matters is she willing to sue you? And it seems like she is willing to sue you. This is what it says about Michael Wolff. Michael Wolff claimed on the Daily Beast podcast that Melania Trump was very involved in Jeffrey Epstein's social circle and was introduced to Donald Trump in 1998 through this circle, specifically via model agent Paolo Zampoli, who had connections to Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. He further alleged that Epstein told him Melania and Donald's first sexual encounter occurred on Epstein's private jet, the Lolita Express. These claims were based on Wolff's alleged 100 hours of recorded interviews with Epstein before his death in 2019. Okay, so if this is Epstein saying this, I mean, do you trust Epstein? Do you trust what he has to say? Again, it's like Milo, like not very trustworthy, but you can't just dismiss it. I don't know, but it could explain a lot as to why Trump is behaving the way he is around the Epstein files.
hundreds, if not over 1,000 minors, children who were raped by Jeffrey Epstein. And I don't believe in guilt by association alone, but the connections have become, they're so glaringly obvious that I think they're trying to use other things to distract. And I also think they're bullies, and they think that $1 billion is going to scare me, which is the fact of the matter is that if they'd like to go, I have this to say to them. If they want to sit down for a deposition and clarify the nature of the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein, if the president and the first lady want to do that, and all of the known associates around them at the time of whatever time that they met, I'm more than happy to provide them the platform to be able to do it.
So if you countersue, they'd have to sit for deposition.
No, not if I countersue. If they sue me, they would have to sit for a deposition. Almost certainly, certainly the first lady would have to sit for a deposition, and most likely.
Yeah, Zach, you're right. I mean, I don't think there's much of a case here because the case should be against Michael Wolff. Because he's just saying, hey, this guy reported this, and I'm relaying what this guy reported. So it does seem like they're kind of missing the mark. They probably are just trying to get him to shut up. We'll see. Because at this point, he said, fuck off. I'm not going to do that. So if they're serious, then the lawsuit should come next. But yeah, I don't think it works. It would work in this case because he's just parroting what supposed journalist Michael Wolff said. So the lawsuit should be against Michael Wolff, maybe. I don't know. I'm not a legal expert, clearly, but let's see if Melania follows up and actually puts the lawsuit through.
The president would have to sit for a deposition, and based upon Clinton versus Jones, the Supreme Court case, the president would not be exempt from having to sit down for a deposition,
and that would be a pretty big deal, right?
Well, I think the entire world would love to finally get to the bottom of the true nature of their relationship.
But a deposition with a sitting president, has it ever happened before?
Yeah, with Bill Clinton.
Yeah, he just said that with Paula Jones, Bill Clinton.
I've only ever seen 2 deposition videos before. There's the Jeffrey Epstein one where they ask him if he has an egg-shaped penis. Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
And then he walks out. Then have you seen the Lil Wayne deposition where he threatens the person interviewing him?
This would be bigger than the Lil Wayne deposition, I bet.
That's the most viewed deposition of all time.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
no, I've seen the deposition with Jeffrey Epstein, in which, again, I'm paraphrasing. I don't know the exact words that he used, but he was asked, were you ever in the presence of Donald Trump and underage women and minors? And he, after not having taken the fifth on several questions before and after that, he takes the fifth on that question.
That's the thing about taking the fifth, it makes you look guilty. Gets you out of legal trouble, but it does make you look fucking guilty. So, since I did so much with Alex today, we'll finish it with Alex talking about this. Did I save it? Yeah, let's see what Alex thinks about all this.
The day of presidential litigation.
Remember, Alex has a history with Andrew. I think Alex is still really mad at Andrew, and I think he has right to be, because Andrew did fuck him over.
As a right.
John super chatted $5. Hear your ping, but he's describing what he's seeing. It looks like we're taking the Capitol, then another says evacuating the Capitol Fed level. Nah.
No, he says destroy. He says, do I gotta play it again? He says take down the barricades or destroy the barricades and ignore the police. Then they start talking about how the people are evacuating the Capitol. We need to evict them. It's worse than just that. Those words alone, dude. I mean, when you're telling people to storm the Capitol, to take down the barricades, to ignore the police, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Like, if you're trying to get somebody for incitement, that's all the evidence you fucking need is somebody ordering people to do that. I kind of disagree.
It's lawsuit time.
I don't know, maybe you haven't heard the whole clip, because that's the lines you're using are not the bad lines.
In my hand is a legal demand letter addressed to Mr. Hunter Biden from the First Lady of the United States, demanding a retraction of Channel 5's video called Hunter Biden Ship. Here we are.
Really watch this. Let's get to what Alex says.
Puts Hunter Biden on. First Lady Melania Trump puts Hunter Biden on 1 billion notice after false defamatory Epstein comments. Now, I predicted this when Trump flipped out 40-something days ago. I said they're going to recycle the Jane Does that weren't real. They're going to recycle Melania, was wink, wink, a hooker, which she wasn't, connected to Epstein through a modeling agency. It wasn't his modeling agency. It was Trump's. That's already been debunked. But the media all came out and said it was real. They all retracted, but Hunter Biden just refused to.
I mean, John, do you need me to play the whole clip again? I'll play the whole clip again.
And this
I've
is
played
the
it so many times.
crackhead, and I've looked at his laptop. I had to stop. But it's lots of little kids half naked in beds, you know, him smoking a cigarette, trophy photos, him jerking off, him with hookers, you know, code words for kids, you know, his sister saying that, you know, dad had sex with her in the shower. I mean, it's safe to say this is a pedo family. And so to have the pot calling the pure driven snow black is really bad. And he's really an arrogant crackhead. But now Channel 5, that's basically, in my view, a leftist front group, has come out and apologized. But Hunter didn't. He doubled down. Here it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, the day of presidential litigation has arrived. It's lawsuit time. In my hand is a legal...
All right, we can skip the clips we just already played.
They spend an enormous time. That's how, according to now.
Actually, spin in my video to Jeff.
Says,
Fuck stutter, fuck smack.
I think Alex is more mad at Andrew than he was in the past.
well, all I can tell you about that reporter is he came here like 4 years ago, and is like, oh, I want to do a comedy thing. I got a comedy show, and he'd had one, but he was really doing a show for somebody else, had me joke around, do skits, because I like comedy, and he then ran it as if it was all real. Another little slimy rat. Anti-free speech, supported me being taken off the air. Just Andrew Callahan. And nobody watches him. He's a nobody.
Well, I'll disagree with that. He actually has a pretty large fucking audience. Again, because he's approved. He's got the approved message. And when you have an approved message by the powers that be, you tend to end up with a pretty big audience.
He has to go around with Hunter Biden and just, he's like a bottom-feeding, you know, creature. But all I know is he's a joke. And so is Hunter Biden. Now, that said, I think Hunter has the right to say, oh, well, Wolf says this, and Wolf's been, you know, discredited a lot. I mean, I think it is free speech. But the Democrats have opened the door for all this lawfare where they found me, judges found me guilty, and they had show trials for stuff I never even said or did, but I couldn't put my evidence on because I was already guilty. So to the Democrats, hey, the gun kicks as hard as it shoots, and you guys are all getting a big taste of your own medicine, aren't you? We'll be right back.
So would that be crazy if they pulled what they did to Alex on Hunter? I don't think they could. They'd have to find like a very, very right-wing court that's willing to railroad somebody the same way they did to Alex. Because Alex got like the worst fucking judge. Like he just got like people that hated him to decide his future and to decide that case. And then they ruled him as guilty right off the bat. They're like, oh, you're guilty because you didn't provide all the documents we asked. So you're just immediately guilty. And you're not even going to get to defend yourself. The whole case is just going to be about how much the damages are going to be. They totally fucked Alex on that. And they're still trying to take his business, which is really fucked. You know, I could talk a lot of shit about Nick and how I disagree with Alex when it comes to Nick, but I still support Alex. And he's been really, really wronged. And I hope that they don't fucking end up taking InfoWars. And if they do, you know, the next day he'll have another site. He'll be up and running. They're not going to put a stop to him. They're just going to make his life hard. But yeah, I hope that doesn't come through. I hope somebody fucking blocks it because it's not looking good. What was the latest on this? Yeah, this one. Alex Jones InfoWars assets to be seized by Texas receiver, according to Bloomberg. Let me see. Let's read this. Let's see what it's saying. A Texas state court appointed a receiver to administer right-wing conspiracy theorist Alex Jones' media empire, which owes roughly $1.3 billion in judgments tied to his false claims that the 2012 Sandy Hook elementary shooting was a hoax. The order granting the request from Sandy Hook victims' families allows Gregory S. Milligan to take possession and sell assets of Free Speech Systems, LLC, the parent company, the Jones InfoWars show. Judge Maya Guerra Gamble of Travis County District Court signed off on the family's motion during a hearing Wednesday. I don't know, man. I don't understand how this doesn't get overturned. I mean, to me, you gotta, I don't know, man. I don't know enough about the process, what's going on, but I would thought at some point he would appeal and it would end up like on the docket of like some reasonable fucking judge who would go, this is actually like a First Amendment issue. He's allowed to say all these things. So what's the problem? But, I don't know how long that's going to take, man. I don't know. I'm not an expert in legal shit, but I would think it would be overturned on appeal at some point. But anyway, Yeah, hopefully they figure this out, man. Shout out to the InfoWars people. You know, I think you're a bunch of retards when it comes to promoting Nick Fuentes, but I still love you guys, and I don't want to see this happen. Anyway, take care, everybody. Been a fun episode. We'll be back tomorrow. I hope everybody has a wonderful night. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Try not to let the Groiper bots bring it down. You know, again, I don't plan on talking about Nick Fuentes tomorrow. I don't plan on it. But, you know, if all of a sudden he's fucking doing an interview with Tucker Carlson tomorrow, I'm going to have to talk about that. Because this is one of the fucking lanes I've fallen into just naturally because it's something I want to talk about. Because I've said a million times, I actually care about America first. I care about fixing a lot of the problems they claim to care about. And what I see, the writing on the wall to me is like the things I care about will never happen as long as somebody like that is allowed to be the messenger. It's going to completely discredit all of us. And I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to have to start over from scratch with a whole new movement and a whole new this and a whole new that, which we're probably going to have to do. Anyway, see you guys tomorrow. Much love. Have a great night. And remember that life's good. I don't know. These outros are hard. I don't know what to say sometimes. We'll see you guys later. Have a good one, okay?
Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified. Here's some other videos to watch that you might like or you might not. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notified. Have a great day, my internet friend. I hope I'll see you once again. Please subscribe and hit the like and ring that bell if you want notification.